What's happening, lids? How are we? Adam here. Hope you're all good. I've added some shows. I'm starting to work out again, trying to get my new hour together, and on top of appearing at loads of different comedy clubs over the next few months, I'm going to be running my new 30 to 45 minutes of stuff at some Adam Rowe and Friends shows. They're all on my website, adamrowe.co.uk. There's 7 shows at the minute listed in Liverpool. They are on the 6th of February, the 13th of February, the 12th and 13th of March. And the 13th of Feb and the 12th and 13th of March have 2 shows each night as well. I've got some unbelievable lineups booked for them. Got some of my best mates in comedy. Some people you wouldn't expect to come and do these shows. Very, very excited. But I'm also adding shows in Manchester on the 11th of April. They are on sale right now on my website. And after that, we're adding Belfast, we're adding Dublin, Newcastle, Glasgow, Edinburgh, Birmingham, and London are all to come. So if you go to adamrowe.co.uk, there will be some shows listed, and whatever are on there right now are on sale, and there is more to come, so keep checking. And if you want me to come anywhere closer to you, let me know. I'm very excited. I'm really excited to get back to work. And on top of all of that, of course, we've got the Murderers Row tour coming up. HaveAwordPod.com for tickets to that. There's also exclusive Murderers Row merch that you can get on the same website. That's HaveAwordPod.com. And as always, patreon.com/HaveAwordPod for an extra episode every week, early access to these public episodes, and access to the entire back catalogue of Patreon exclusive and Patreon specials, including the India special, the India Bike Ride Challenge special, which is released very soon. Patreon.com/HaveAwordPod. Enjoy this episode. We've just finished recording it, and it is one of my favourite for ages. See you soon. Love you all. Even the crying asses. Stop moaning.
Wag wag leads, you're listening to the funniest podcast in the game from the heart of Liverpool with Adam, Dan, Sensei Carl and Finn. This is the one and only Have a Word.
Brought to you by Manscaped, the very best products on the market for below the waist grooming.
Go Ed, get on me.
Oh, hey.
Hey.
Dan Nightingale is facing some more allegations, so he's in the dock. And speaking of docks,
We just come from the dock, haven't we?
me and Alfie Brown have been in the dock. We've been cold plunging.
Oh, how are your bones?
I'm cold. Cold to the bone.
You have replaced Dan properly.
Yeah.
Then.
Oh, but it's good though, you know.
Oh, I can't do it again.
I'd love to put a clip in of when Dan first said he was cold plunging and your reaction.
What do you mean?
You were going, that's fucking wool. All that shit.
That doesn't sound like something I'd say.
What about it is...
No, we know it's good because Dan spoke about it for a year, and I knew this morning Adam was going to be like, lad, no, it's actually good though.
No, but it is though. I went yesterday and I went back today. I'm going tomorrow and Sunday. Every day for the rest of my life.
You have to get in the dock though, isn't it, Flea?
What?
The dock's grim, innit?
Yeah, but they scoop all the shit out. That's what Jack said.
Oh, nice.
They
You can see
scoop-
the bottom.
I touched the bottom
In the
today.
bit that you get in, you can see the
Okay,
bottom.
that's all right then.
Yeah.
I
Oh, no,
touched the
sorry.
bottom
No, you
and-
can't see the bottom. It's really dirty and they take nothing out. Sorry, that's what I meant.
And the water, when you go in, sort of becomes yellow.
Yeah.
Like through the muck in the water, the hue is lightened by the lightness of your own flesh. And it looks yellowy and disgusting. There was a packet of scampi fries in there with us today.
Wild scampi fries.
Wild, yeah.
That's where they collect them.
Oh, nice.
That's
You
where they
go there.
caught wild caught scampi fries.
How do your lips taste?
How do my lips taste?
Yeah. That
Wouldn't you like to know?
What the fuck was that? What?
I remember when we used to jump in the dock.
Who's HR here?
Will. How do your lips taste? When we used to jump in, I remember my lips would taste really acidic. Did you
We weren't drinking it though.
No, I never used to drink it at them because I wouldn't be here anymore, would I? Or I'd have 4 arms.
A little bit went in my mouth earlier. I just spat it out.
Yeah. My lips are salty. Too salty.
Yeah, they got a flavour.
Yeah. It's salt water.
We on.
It is.
I was texting Alfie while I was away in the States, and I was like, we haven't really hung out, just like me and him for a while, or even me, him and Jack. Like, it's always, when I've seen him, it's been like a big group. So we arranged Wednesday night to go and have a couple of pints, watch the Liverpool game. And then towards the end of the pints, Jack was like, should we all go and cold plunge tomorrow morning at 9:15? And we both had enough pints to be like, okay.
But it was good.
Waking up for it is awful. Doing it is awful. When you come out, you're like, this is the fucking best thing I've ever done.
I think because your body goes, it's time to die. It just cleans out everything that was festering in you, all the bad vibes, every inch of like toxic shite that was in you gets shocked out of your system, and you sit. Also, this is the best thing about this place is that you get out and then you go into a little hut, which is a sauna, and the sauna is little. It's like stepped up, and it's a viewing platform for everybody who is suffering in the water.
Nice.
So you get to go and be each other's entertainment, and the pain and the fear and the difficulty breathing. Like it's
How much is this?
Good, by the way.
Are you paying for this? It's like a hostage.
It's a tenner. And you got to speculate to accumulate. And we've got loads of good vibes now. I mean, my bones still hurt, but we've got loads of good vibes. But this shock, like your breath, you can't breathe.
No, the
You
first
can't
time
breathe.
you get in. So when you go, so it's called, and this is not an ad or anything, it just genuinely is class and you should like go. But don't go when I want to go because it was already too busy today. Earlier in the day, it's more expensive. So I think we paid £12.50 each today. But then when it gets towards lunchtime, it's like £7. And then mid-afternoon, it's like a £5.
Okay.
Because like most people who want to do it are like, I'm getting up and starting my day, right? So, but you get there and there's the dock, which is whatever temperature it is that day. And then they have 4 cold plunge tubs. The one on the right is like the warmest, but even that's like 10 degrees or something. And then there's, as you go left, they get colder. And the one on the far left is colder than the dock.
Oh, what did you get in?
So what I do is get in the dock first and then get in the warmest one, which is still cold. You're still cold plunging. But if you get in the dock and then get in that, you feel like you're in a jacuzzi. Like you want to put a bit of matey in and just...
I've stayed in the dock for quite a long time today until eventually the first pain to withstand is the feeling that your balls are now like they're trying to transition. Like it moves inside out. Your dick just becomes a little, especially if you've got a hood like me, it just becomes a little sort of snout.
My dick's going to be handed into lost property at some point today because I have not got it anymore.
But if you can withstand like the pain, it feels like your pudendal nerve's about to come out of your asshole.
I was saying that at the pub last night.
Ooh, I think them eggs were bad. I feel like my pudendal nerve's supposed to come out my asshole.
And if you can get through that, then you can stay in for a few minutes, and it's your fingers that then feel like they're being bitten by somebody's back teeth, and that's when you have to leave, and it all becomes.
That sounds bloody lovely.
But then there's a sauna there, so you can immediately go and get into comfort.
I remember after we did it in Dan's, I did feel like alive and tingly.
It's really good. I did the first dip I did today. I got in the dock and then I got in the tub, and I did 6.5 minutes in the tub, and that was good. And then I got in the slightly colder one, the next one, and did 3 minutes, and then I tried to get in the one colder than that, and lasted about 20 seconds, and I went and just got back in the first tub again.
It's like
Goldie
nobody
Docks.
enjoys running. You don't want to run. It's yeah. Sorry.
Thank you.
Good.
Wow.
It's like Goldie Docks.
And then I think he wanted it acknowledging.
It's only ever off Finn that I want acknowledgement, really. He didn't give me it, so Alfie
He did. He just stared
Dead and
daggers
I
at you.
shoot my head. You're better than that.
That's nice. That's the nicest way to tell somebody to be better.
He is.
Yeah. I know. I agree
He's a
with
funny
you.
guy.
I know.
Funny how? You gonna go again?
Yeah. I think it's so like no. That's my point. Nobody enjoys running. You enjoy having run. You don't enjoy going to the gym. You enjoy having gone to the gym. You don't enjoy like having small children. You enjoy later on when you've got a mate.
I feel like that. I've said this before. With everything I ever do,
What do you mean?
Carry on.
I can't wait to leave the cinema when I get there.
I said that was insane. I think this is when you were away. That's mental.
Right.
I can't wait to leave because then I can talk about the film and think about it. And
Your best mate in the world would be Tom Segura. I hope we manage to get him in when he comes to the UK. He starts one of his stand-up specials. I think it's Disgraceful, where he goes, "Oh, it's great to be here. I wish I was home right now." He goes, "That's my honest feeling, but here's the thing. I think it's your feeling too. Like, you're like, yeah, I hope the show's good, but also wrap this shit up so we can go home." It's like people are constantly searching for the meaning of life. Here's what the meaning of life is. Fuck this place. Let's go home.
I could be watching a band who I love. I'm like, the last song got to be soon. And then when the last song's on, you'll be like, yes. Not with you, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Sean Walsh has a great routine about there's no plan is better than a cancelled plan.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Is that a Nest Club song?
Should
No
be.
plan, no plan's better than a cancelled plan. It scans. At the very least, it scans. So no, but
Yeah. Close.
Is there any exception to that for you? Is there anything where
playing
you're like
footy
playing footy? Yeah, you don't want footy to end.
is the only one.
What
Like,
about going for like a good meal? Are you literally just there being like, I can't wait till the best?
yeah, I know.
No,
But come
'cause
on,
like
you must
4
get
bite-
depressed for the last bite of the sandwich.
There's 4 bites in, you're like, oh, now I'm not as hungry as I was, and it's already started to end. You know what I mean?
Do you know we've been like best mates for so long, and I reckon it's only the past like year that I really know you.
Yeah.
I know how like mental and miserable you are deep down, really.
Yeah. I just love going home, man. It's so
This is
good.
symptomatic of being an Everton fan. You're just you need things to end.
You know what's weird though? One of the places is being in Goodison.
You don't want that to end.
I love, like, when I get to footy, if it's at 7 o'clock, if we haven't kicked off at 7 o'clock playing, I'm angry because I'm like, this hour is a lot. I want to enjoy every minute. And going to Goodison, if I miss kick-off, which I think I've ever done, I'd be gutted because I'm like, I want to make the most of every minute. Even though it's depressing and I hate it, Goodison is actually one of the places where I don't want to leave.
Do you think being an Everton fan has affected your personality?
Um,
Do you think it's affected your
100,000%.
outlook on all of these other things?
I don't think anyone is more of an Everton fan than you.
yeah.
You're the apex Everton fan,
Yeah, unfortunately.
roaming the wild.
Lads are like, bloody Messi's a woolly mini, lad. Fuck off. Already just seeing the comments. I hate Everton, that's how much I love them.
Yeah. That's what it is to be an Everton fan. It's a truly spiritual thing. And I don't understand how somebody who is an Everton fan could not understand cold plunging. You put yourself in pain. Like that's what you're doing.
Goodison is cold plunging.
Yeah. For the soul.
But you don't feel good afterwards either. But you still do it again.
no-
Yeah, but at least you like the ref blows the whistle and goes, well, at least we're not. At least that's finished.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel now.
Do you know what I love doing?
There's a still residual feeling of pain in my bones, like I imagine you have after watching.
Constantly, yeah.
Yeah.
I love leaving the game after we've lost. Because like the head of misery it's almost like a blanket.
I love the idea of 2 Everton fans being in the pub like 6 hours after the match, being like, are your bones still sore? You cold?
Freezing like fucking hell. ACL to the bones. But yeah, I love when things end. I know that's mad.
Yeah. I'd love to watch a Huberman podcast talking about the benefits of being an Everton fan. I actually find that Everton fans burn a lot more brown fat from all of the
Hatred.
terrible sadness in their souls.
We've all got great jawlines from booing a lot. I could Everton jawline. Boo!
Supermodels, like, could you just boo? Imagine you're an Everton fan, just boo for us and like,
Yeah, I don't know. I think you struggle to be in the moment sometimes too. Because I remember you've said it to me. You try and actively do it.
yeah, but I don't want it to be over.
No, I'm not saying. Yeah, yeah. I do
Like,
struggle to be in the
I
moment.
definitely enjoy like looking forward to stuff. And this is not like, I don't want this to be the case, but I look forward to stuff and look back on stuff more than I enjoy it at the time.
That's what I mean.
So like when I've got like a big show coming up, like I'm like, oh, I can't wait to do the arena. Like I can't wait to headline me home. That's going to be great. I'm doing the arena. Wow, cool. And now I look back and I'm being like, can't believe I fucking done the arena. But while I'm on stage, I am just being like, just do the show.
Yeah.
rather than like actually enjoying.
You're not like, wow, this is amazing. You're like, I'm just doing the thing.
The only time I really got to truly enjoy the moment of that was when I brought Jamie Webster out at the arena and he was singing and I was getting to watch that happen. That was like, oh, I'm actually
Here.
because I'm not having to do anything.
You were at your show at
Yeah.
that point. Yeah.
And I think it is probably like maybe like a ADHD type thing where it's like when I'm doing something as sort of intense as performance stand-up, I'm like hyper focused on it.
Dialed in.
Are you ever in the moment going, I should be enjoying this, and then not? Do you know what I mean? Like going, I should be more present now.
Not quite, but I did sort of towards the end of my last tour, there was a couple of shows that we did where I was like not grateful for having to do the show. Like there was a show, I think we did the Albany Theatre in Coventry or somewhere like that.
I think I missed that one.
No, you
went
whatever
into
whatever
somewhere
show.
in Scotland and said that, like, and I didn't go to that one, and you.
That was like a nightclub gig, yeah. But like the Coventry one or wherever we were, you were definitely at. Like I know for a fact you were, and like it started like 5 minutes late. So Alfie was doing 20 minutes, and I was like, right, so it'll be 25 past 8 by the time I get on, and then it'll be 20 minutes break, 1:45. And if I just do 50 minutes, then and I was like, and then I was like sort of figuring out what time I'd be home by, and it was towards the end of the tour when whatever, and then. Before I went on stage, I was like, what am I doing here? Like, I've sold out like a 400-seat theatre. Like, I'd have killed for this. Like, last year, never mind, 5-10 years ago. And I'm like, sort of like rushing my way through it and being like, I just want to get home. And I was like, this just needs to fucking stop. Like, I need to be more sort of grateful for shows like this because the fact I can sell this many tickets in a small city, wherever we were, I was like, this just... And then I went on and really enjoyed that show because I was like...
Making the effort to be present.
Like slapped myself into it.
Yes. I do think, I mean, it's the ability to reflect on things and have, like, I suppose, like masturbation is the one proper reversal of that. That's something that you only enjoy in the moment and then you hate that you just did it.
Yeah.
Like it's the complete, nobody's masturbating and thinking, God, fucking...
I am sometimes when I'm hungover and it just feels like I'm just trying to get some like regret out of me.
Yeah. Like draining a sort of cyst.
Also,
Like I probably need to be sick, but I don't feel nauseous, so I should probably have a wank and just...
Yeah, something's got to leave.
Yeah.
Like, well, I don't care what it is, but there's a little bit too much fluid in here and it needs to get out somehow.
I broke my record in New York, in Austin.
Of what?
Wanks in a day. 13.
And you ejaculated.
No.
Like,
How aren't you like 11 stone then?
I don't know how much you think I was coming towards the end. 13. Yeah. The last one was like a tear.
A little wink. You're like, lad, can we start now?
It was a tear.
How?
It was like you know, like when in a film when someone sheds one happy tear. That's what I.
The amount of admin you've got to do when you had 13 wanks in Texas.
I was hungover.
Like, but towards the end of that batch, how many of them were you going, I could break my record here? You can't have been galvanized to do the 10th.
No,
You've got to be in it for the numbers then.
If I'm being 100% honest, I reckon the first 4, I was like, I need these and these are fun and I'm enjoying it. 5 through 7 was like the something needs to leave stuff. Mm-hmm. And then I think 8 and 9, I enjoyed it again. I was like, oh, this is whatever.
If whatever needed to leave hadn't left from 1 through 4, I'm not sure that was the right hole, mate. I think you need to be going.
Listen, I'm not saying, hey, I was in Austin having some really logical thought patterns. I'm saying this is just what happened. And I think once I got to 9, I knew how close I was to 11. And I was like, I can push through here.
2 more cup finals.
What's the shortest reload time?
So all of this happened between, I think, 8 a.m. and 6 p.m.
That's mental. That's mental. I thought
For
it was
a
a late
baker's
night
dozen
thing.
of wanks. That is
Harry Kane in the Bundesliga.
I once did 2 wanks in a row when I was about 14, and the second one was just powder. It just the end of my knob just went, and there was nothing came out. I was like, I'm gonna count that as one.
No, when it comes to masturbation, I've got quite a quick reload time. That's a fucking flex.
You know how like Ozzy Osbourne gets studied for like how he survived drugs?
Yeah.
I reckon doctors could like this man produces so much cum and testosterone because 13 in a day is like
Insane.
It was
down in
a
layers.
lot like.
I once knew a bloke who like it was like he felt ill with it, like he couldn't get anything done. Like he was trying to watch an episode of The Sopranos and he'd have to stop halfway through to rub one out, and I felt deadly sorry for him. But also, like you have sometimes you do that, and then your partner will say to you, "Oh, how come you don't go a bunch of times when we?" Because that's like there's a performance aspect there.
Totally. Also, like, I know exactly what you're saying, but like towards like the pornography that I was watching had to get steadily more insane. Like the porn that got me off at wank 1 would not have done for number 13. Like my dick would have looked at that at number 13 and be like, "Are you fucking joking?
Yeah.
Are you fucking like no?"
Okay.
Do you know what
So
I mean?
like, and by 13 it was
Like by it was just like,
brothers in biking
don't show us
gear.
that magic trick again. We've already seen you fucking, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we know that's not that thumb.
Russian Penn and Teller. It's a good one.
Yeah, towards the end, it's just, like,
I think one of the best feelings in the world is remembering you haven't had one and you can have one. Like you've got the time and space to do one.
time and space, like you're a defensive midfielder.
scarring.
You're like, oh, I haven't had one, and
I've given up porn.
Alfie.
And I've cut back. I've stopped smoking weed. I've cut back a lot on booze, and I've stopped watching porn. And if you told me beforehand the benefits that you'd get from not watching porn, I wouldn't have believed you. Like if you put that in a supplement and tried to flog it, you'd be a bajillionaire. It's incredible.
But
Really
like,
amazing.
what are you talking about? What are the benefits to not watching porn?
There's a sense of daily torpor, I think, that I experience. Like
We're going to need to know what that word means.
just just a sadness and like a lack of motivation, a stillness and a fuzzy thought. Like when you've been like it just it just throws your reward system all off. Like you were sitting in your bed watching a splayed 10. And what had you done but eat crisps? You don't deserve to see a splayed 10. But there you are in your bed. Oh, I get to see a splayed 10. No, you don't. You got to work for that. If you cold plunge and then masturbate. By the way, just to wrap back on that, when I was cold plunging today, like I thought I was in the sauna thinking I need to piss. I thought, well, I can't piss in the sauna, despite the fact that I thought if I did it on the coals, it would be interesting. Anyway, and then I'll go into the water and try and piss, but the water freezes the piss inside you. So you've got to. I was in the water, like straining every kind of sinew of my being, trying to get piss out of this little kind of dog's nose that was in between my leg at the time, and it like dribbled out like it had a cold. It was disgusting.
Won't piss in water. Not even the sea.
You won't piss in the sea?
No.
Oh, is that because you're worried about the fishes? You're a vegan.
I'm veggie, but there's
You're
nothing about the
Is it
fish.
related?
No, unrelated. Just can't do it.
I don't think there are any fishes in the dock, so...
What is that, though?
No idea. Just feels wrong.
Wouldn't you even have a piss in the bath?
What?
You're in the bath and you just...
I won't do it in the sea. I wouldn't do it in the bath. It's a lot more contained.
I wouldn't piss in the bath.
Oh, so you're worried about getting piss on your legs?
I think so. I think deep down. Isn't everyone worried about getting piss on their
Like
legs?
your piss ends up in the sea, just someone else puts it there. Why? Just cut out the middleman. You do it.
Just walk to the beach and have a piss.
Why not?
I don't know. I just don't like
Look,
it.
this fact, and I've not got a lot of science facts, and this one might bamboozle you, but there is loads of sea. So I don't think you've got to worry about it.
I don't know.
There's so much more sea.
I'm just comfortable in a toilet.
Sure, I'm not saying go to the sea to do a wee.
You know?
I didn't hear it.
Gayest thing you've ever said.
All right, George Michael.
Oh, I'm home.
Yeah, I just can't do it.
No.
I think I've got a bit of trauma from
It's
the
better
sea.
than pissing in the toilet. Like
I
the
do.
feeling of it's
I
amazing.
do have like a bit of fear about the sea still, deep down, like
Yeah.
because I stood on a poisonous fish when I was 7,
And you lost your
I've
man drink?
I've
In
not-
real?
No, not in real. In
It's a
Tur-
cod.
Someone dropped a fish and chips.
Poison.
In Turkey, I stood on a poisonous fish and I nearly died.
Right.
So I
What
think
kind
that
of poisonous
deep down-
fish was it?
I think it was like a cousin of a puffer fish.
Oh, right. Cousin
I've got a
pufferfish.
cousin who's a puffer fish.
It was like a relative of a puffer fish because it was a sharp, spiky kind of
Yeah.
thing, and they had to. So my dad, I started screaming on the beach. I feel like I've done this years ago, but
And
there's
I
a
will
lot
have
of new
said it's
people.
mad that puffer fish are full of water and not air, but continue.
Stood on this, got out of the sea and started crying. And my mum was like, "You've just stood on a rock that's sharp. Get back in the sea." And I started screaming.
Get back in. Why?
Oh, she was just like, I was a kid, so she's just like, "You're fine."
Can I
Stop
just
it."
put a pin in this for 1 second? It's mad that pufferfish are full of water and not air.
Yeah.
Where would they be getting the air from?
I don't know, but when you're a kid, you think they're full of air, don't you?
Yeah,
They're just doing this.
Yeah.
What?
I thought if my instant thought for puffer fish is full
Yeah,
of
same. I mean, logically, it makes sense that it's water, but like it does look like they're full of air.
I always just see them and like you see a pufferfish before it's puffed, and then it goes, "Fuck, I'm thirsty," and it goes, and they go, "Oh, not that thirsty. That's way too much. It's very uncomfortable. I feel fucking bloated."
it just goes.
Yeah. You want to get some of that gut powder that men seem to be having loads
But
of
like
at the moment.
pufferfish in the name, it sounds like it's got air in it because you can have a puff of air. You can't have a puff of water. A
Yeah,
water
but
puff.
it puffs. The air doesn't puff, it puffs. The fish puffs. It's a puffer fish.
Don't say what you've just
Someone who
done
puffs
to me.
is a puffer. What you wear while you're puffing is puffer wear. Now, I'm not sure that made sense.
Puffer coat.
Yeah, and but so did they take you to a hospital, a Turkish hospital? No
Yeah,
less?
but this is like 20 years ago now, and it was a bit backwards. Summer Turkey still is a bit backwards. I love it, but
Easy for you to say.
we went to one, and there was a guy in there, and my dad knocked on, and they were like, "No, we're shut. No, sorry." Like a clinic, they were like, "No." So they took me to a hospital, and they were like, "This is the story I've been told because I don't really remember. I was a bit out of it." They had to inject me in my arse cheek with like anti-venom.
Cool.
But I was so...
Oh, yeah, it's just anti-venom, lad. Pretty nice.
So I was kicking off, and they had to have 11 people hold me down.
Strong
11
kid.
spare people in a hospital. What? That is a lie. You have been lied to.
Turkish people are maggots, mate.
What are you talking? You've been lied to by
11
your
spare people.
Yes, this is my boy. This is my boy. When he was a kid, he stand on poisonous fish. Fish die instantly. We take him to the hospital. It take 11 men to hold him.
Yeah, I am just realising that that's probably a lie.
How
I've
big were
been
you at
told.
this point? Like, how do 11 men even get
big kid.
around you?
One man's just got his arm. Another man's got the bottom of his leg.
Like Rachel and Friends when they're moving the couch, she's just like touching it.
How big were you?
Massive, mate.
He wasn't the size. He was just slippery.
Yeah.
Agile.
Been in the
Easy
sea.
to get away.
So yeah,
And you lost your nan's ring in the sea.
I did lose my nan's ring in the sea.
Yeah.
But
Right.
that's,
Which wasn't funny.
It wasn't, but looking back, it was.
Yeah, it was funny.
At
amazing-
that moment, when you were cracking jokes, I was like, time and a place, boys. But now looking back, I'm like, they had no choice.
Oh, we had no
You had
choice.
no
That was
choice.
also the only time in the place.
Yeah.
It just happened.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
the time was you had just lost it.
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
place was where you'd lost it. That's the time and the place.
It'd be mad if we only joked about it now.
But in that moment, it wasn't ideal for me.
It is amazing in hospital, though, I will say, when something's going wrong, people just seem to materialise. Like, if you want something like, can I have a drink? They go, no staff. And then if suddenly... So, like, my son, he came out...
Because Congratulations.
Oh, his next word.
He didn't come out as dead. He didn't say, Mum, Dad, I'm dead. He came out of Jesse.
We've always known, son.
He wasn't breathing, and he went, I'm dead. And I went, yeah, you're blue. That was, we knew all along. And as soon as he came out and not crying and everything, like 11 nurses and everything came in, a siren went off, and they all rushed around. They put him under this, like a grill, and then stuck a tube down his throat, and one of the nurses just pumped him back up. Like a puff of... Anyway, and he's fine.
Was that your first? Was that your first experience of childbirth, or did you already had
That was my first experience of childbirth.
Apart
yes.
from when you were born.
Apart from when I was born, but that's hazy. Which is lucky. I think it's nice that the human species doesn't have any memory at the beginning or the end of its life.
Yeah, yeah.
Because at the end of your life, it's like scary, so you just forget, so it's easier to deal with. And the beginning of your life, if you could remember what was going on, it'd be so awkward. Like, if your mum's going, do you want a fucking drink? Mum, that's fucking weird.
So do you think it's mad that like humans are like the most intelligent animal? Like we're the best one, right?
Sure.
But like generally, like we're quite good at stuff, and other animals aren't. But like other animals learn to do stuff. Like dogs come out walking,
Yeah.
and we don't.
Sharks are born swimming, mate.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
That's because of the size of our brains, though. It got when we're in like the womb, I think the basic kind of equipment is like, let's get this brain sorted, and then the body goes, "Oh, what about developing some limbs that work?" He goes, "I don't care, just do the brain bit," and that's why he was because it's why human birth is so difficult because the heads are so big, and which is why Donnie came out dead because he was stuck in the birth canal. Great band name.
Oh yeah,
I just think like if an alien looked down on Earth and seen like a human born and then a dog born, they'd be like, "Oh, the dogs obviously run the gaff." Like they come out talking, walking, they're fucking ready, and babies are just pooing their pants and crying.
Yeah, but it's about what we need to do. Like, we need to invent the wheel and do podcasting, whereas they just need to run about or lie down there, have a sleep. It's this tiny little head he's got.
It's a good job we're not like eggs. It'd be mad if we came from eggs.
Put it on
That'd be
merch.
more mad.
Put it on merch.
Good job we're not eggs.
It's a good job we're not eggs. Stick it on a T-shirt. I'll buy it.
Go on, Finn.
I will buy that. If that ends up on a T-shirt, I'll buy 12, please.
Good job we're not eggs.
I just mean that'd be more mad, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would be.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
It's
Why?
also a good thing that we don't...
Can nobody interrupt Finn and let him explain his thought, please?
I was just thinking, we were talking about birth. I was like, some animals come from eggs and we don't.
Yeah.
Neither, but
Yeah, that's a good thing. He's fucking right. It's a good thing.
No, but can you imagine?
It's also a good thing that the human body can digest more than just the placenta of the female gibbon. That's good, isn't it? That's also good.
Enough pizza.
It's good.
Yeah, but can you imagine how weird it'd be if we were eggs and you went, no, instead you're going to grow in that person's belly. You'd be like, what the fuck? We're eggs, aren't we?
I've definitely said this before. We're playing my hits today. I was terrified of pregnant women till I was about 10. Just scared of them. I don't know. I have no idea. I couldn't speak to my auntie while she was pregnant. I used to just leave the room.
Has there been any investigation into a possible neurodivergence in your...
So we stood on a poisonous pregnant woman. Just wasn't allowed to near them again. Oh, neurodivergence is rife in this building.
Right.
So you've given up porn.
yeah.
There you go.
You've given up porn, and you think a big part of it is your reward system is back intact
Yeah.
because you don't think we deserve, like I didn't deserve to watch a Splayed 10 whilst eating crisps
That's right.
on my bed.
That's right.
What are the other benefits? Are there any other benefits?
Well, I think the clear-mindedness and motivation to go about your life doing more than sitting down on your phone, on Instagram, looking at Dave Portnoy review pizza or Jennifer Garner giving me a tour of her garden.
But I think if I was not watching porn, I'd be watching more of that. It would give me more time to watch Dave Portnoy review pizza.
I think, I know, I think your get up and go is more. I think you are more motivated to go about your life achieving things because the reward that you get from working is not as much as the reward that you get from watching a Splayed 10. So
Yeah, I never write a joke and then come.
no, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. I get it. To be honest with you, you mentioned this to me the other day,
Yeah.
and I knew you were coming here, so I didn't like dig deep into your theory because I wanted to do it here.
Sure.
But I have decided that I'm going to quit porn too.
Hey.
I'm not going to make it anymore.
Cheers. I think that calls for a can of Sneak, ladies and gentlemen.
Very healed myself.
Here, the porn-free lads.
And do you think any of the benefits, because your porn quittal has coincided with your weed quittal, do you think you might be getting benefits from quitting weed that you're assigning to quitting porn?
Well, this is why it's quite bad science, I'm afraid, Adam. Yeah. But I did quit weed before. No, I quit porn before I quit weed. And I saw that it's nice. It's coming. It's come out with its boots on, that one. Woo! Yeah, no, I gave up that before. I gave up porn a while ago.
Okay.
Way before weed.
Okay.
And I felt like that was a benefit. I just don't feel as sleepy. And I think giving up weed has allowed me to have better access to my language. I feel like I was quite cloudy-headed and I couldn't remember words.
That's exactly how I felt.
And I think I was in Amsterdam a little while ago and I was with Pierre Novelli, great comedian.
That's what we've always been saying about you, by the way. Like, since you've been on the weed, we've been like, Alfie's vocabulary is dog shit.
Quite dumb.
Well, I said to Pierre in the morning, I went, look, can we go down to the, the little rivers? And he went, canal. And I went, I'm going to stop smoking weed.
I smoked it once and I smoked it like a shithouse and hit whitey and whatever. But the thing I remembered after it was my struggling. That's so funny that I couldn't think of struggling. The struggle to conjure words. I was really aware of that. I was like, and that wasn't there before I did that.
Yeah. But it's not the case for everyone. I know a lot of people who smoke weed and don't have that problem. And actually, I got some lamb's bread, which was Bob Marley's favourite weed. And smoking that, because you always speak to like older people who were alive in the 70s. They go, weed used to be something fun. You could pass around the joint and it'd be all right. It'd be a social thing. You'd carry on talking. These days, you have a puff and then you need to go to sleep for 2 weeks. And I got what they were talking about because I had about 5 joints and went, I might go and operate some heavy machinery. I'm fine. I just feel
they've bred
quite
it, haven't
good.
they? Recently, they're genetically modifying it to be stronger and stronger and stronger.
Yeah.
Without any of the benefits.
But doesn't that mean it becomes less sellable because it's more like inaccessible to people? People will have it once and be like, fuck that, mate. Me nan was talking to me and she's been dead for a while. Like,
I think it makes it more addictive. And the major addictive property of anything that I find myself addicted to is something that helps me sleep. Because sleeping is impossible to do when you're just... That's when I most feel like this time is just dog shit. This time that I'm spending in this bed, like this is such a tragic waste of human life. We could be out socializing. We could go to Pop World. We could do all sorts of things. I could be cold plunging right now.
What's your current vice then? You must have replaced all of them things with one.
he's still drinking, just not as much.
I'm just drinking, just not as much.
So that
And like I've given up all porn, and that's great. But I do ring up. I do ring up my female friends and masturbate to them down the phone.
there you go.
So but you've got to replace one thing with another.
Yeah.
Can't have no vices.
Suitable replacement. You have no vices.
I said you can't have no vices.
What do you
is
think yours are? I know I've asked you this before, but I don't remember your answer.
I don't know. I'm struggling to conjure. I've been smoking some weed. I don't know.
I get that struggling to conjure on a serious hangover. And that was one of the things that made me think I had MS.
It's the worst. And you're like, right, it's still there today. And there's that one word I couldn't think of today. And you're like, right, it hasn't gone yet. And then after a little while it went, I was like, that has to be linked to me doing that to my body.
Yeah.
And that's one of the main reasons I won't do it again, because I don't want to feel
My
like.
words are still here. I said before.
No, but you
isn't
might
it
have
lucky
more-
we're not eggs. See, I've got words.
But you might have more words that you can't access because you're just dumbing yourself.
No, I've cut down quite a bit recently
On words.
on words.
I've got 5.
I was having too many words and it was really ruining my life.
I think mine's sugar, and I know that's like a really common one. Like, we'll be all addicted to sugar.
I think they're all really common, and they're not like, you can't be in like, it's fine. If it's your vice, it's your vice.
But I've cut it because we started our diet 3 weeks ago for the wedding, so I have cut down. And when I have some sugar now, I'm like, holy shit, that's good.
Take me through your diet protocol.
Just loads of protein. Calorie counting, which I've never done before, which I don't like.
Yeah.
It's like I can't eat any more today because I've hit a number.
Yeah.
Which has never been a part of my life before. It feels weird.
But I do quite like if it's hooked up to your Apple Watch, you can go for a yomp around town and then earn yourself a little biscuit.
So I'm not doing that. I'm not.
You shouldn't be like, if you're like actively trying to drop weight, you shouldn't be buying back food with exercise.
I'm not offsetting it
Your
with
exercise should be in addition to your calorie deficit.
Why? What's the fucking point? What's the point
To
of that
accelerate it?
function? Huh?
To accelerate it.
Yeah.
I'm not
You
offsetting
can't
it.
out-train a bad diet, Alfie.
I know, but if you're counting calories and you've burnt off the thing with the walk, then you can have the hobnob. Surely.
A hobnob is such a fucking waste. Like, that is not... The satisfaction per calorie you get from a hobnob is not worth it.
It depends
you're
on your
dieting.
context. Whenever I'm like, when you see somebody walking down the street and they've got like one of those cookies from a cookie concession place,
Yeah.
and they're like rushing somewhere, eating the cookie. I go, you fucking waste. Like, what? This is something to be savoured. This is you. Sit down and eat the cookie and think about the cookie. And if somebody tries to talk to you while you're eating the cookie, I go, I'm actually just engaging my pleasure centres. Thank you. Could you leave me alone to the end of the cookie? Because I want the sugar and the butter to cascade over my tongue and for me to really engage with what it is to taste this fucking thing. So it is a waste if you're just walking somewhere eating a hobnob absent-mindedly. But if you think about the cookie and are present with the cookie, so worth it.
I don't know.
I checked into a hotel yesterday and got a free hot cookie.
Yeah, DoubleTree.
Yeah.
It was a DoubleTree.
Yeah, that's their thing.
That's their
Mad.
thing. They give you a hot cookie.
That's why people booked with the DoubleTree.
Yeah.
Because the DoubleTree is just a Premier Inn, but they give you hot cookies.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't actually stay there. I had to check in and the room got wasted, but I got a cookie.
Why did you... What? Oh, I see.
It's an expensive cookie, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, last night I went over to Manchester to do a couple of stand-up sets. Very fun. And on the way back, realised I was A, starving, and B, had calories left that I could eat because I'm really back on my journey. And I realised I had about 500 that I could have, which is like enough for like a good bite. And when I got home, I realised, I was like, I'll just have 2 pieces of toast. And the butter, like the layer pack you would put on a slice of orange Warburtons would make the whole piece of toast about 200 calories. So if I had 2 pieces, 400 calories. So instead, I had 300 grams of chicken and made some Chinese curry sauce that I have a powder to make. And it was less calories than 2 pieces of toast would have been. And I basically had a chicken curry without the rice at fucking like nearly midnight. And it was better for me. It was 90% protein and less calories than 2 pieces of toast.
I do think that there needs to be, like, if I'm going to think about it and say the word calorie, which is an exceptionally depressing word to have to say, like, it would be good just to get it all done, like within a 6-month, 3-month window, and then get into the sort of shape where you never have to say calorie ever again. You just need to break. And I mean, I'm in great shape, except for my abdomen. Like my arms and legs, I'm a fucking athlete. But it's just this, and I'm not like fat. I'm a thin guy with a big layer of fat on me. Like, and there's a difference. You know, like
beer?
You know when somebody's fat and they're like, hey, I'm fat, and that's cool. Like Tony Soprano fat, like hot fat, like he's cool, powerful fat. I've just got this nice slim body with a layer of sad, droopy hobnob fat on it.
You're not cool, fat.
No, it's like it's subject to the laws of gravity in a way that Tony Soprano's gut isn't. This big distended dome thing.
Yeah, like if Jack Finnegan ever had like Finn's body, he'd look pathetic.
When
and
Jack-
you don't. You don't.
No, when Jack lost loads of weight recently, I was like, oh, you don't look like Jack anymore.
Yeah.
Jack is he's like a bear, isn't he? It's his character as well.
Barrel chested.
Yeah.
Battle.
I think my superpower, and I never understood it until I got into my 30s, would be eat whatever I want and have the body I want.
It always bothers me that when I lose all the weight and get to where I want to be, So I think I got down to like 86 kilograms last year. I'm currently 93.
Imagine if you were an X-Man with that superpower. You're hanging out with Rogue and Cyclops and everybody. What can you do? You go. I gotta stay here. Solve the. You did really. That looked like busy work. That must have been exhausting. I'm proud of you guys. But if anyone wants to fuck, I still look amazing, by the way. And after I've finished this nacho cheese with a spoon, I'm up for it.
The way you kill the enemy is just out-eat them. Let's have an eating contest and see who wins. And they just die.
I always resent that when I get to my target, I still have to do stuff to maintain that. Like, I feel like when I get there, it should there should be like a god who goes, well done, and now you can eat what you want forever and just be here.
And if you want to go down again, you have to cut it again, but you've reached at a good level, like leveling up. You have to go fucking back again.
But you just have to be like a swimmer, or a rower and I think that must be fucking. Like, it must be a nightmare having to eat 5,000 calories a day just to maintain your athletic capabilities. And I think you'd get really bored.
It's
and
the
then
right
you'd
calories
resent
as well.
eating. Sorry?
It's the right. You could do 5,000 piece of piss. Just have 2 packets of crisp, 2 packets of biscuits even. But it's eating 5,000 of the right calories.
That was one of the other big things about quitting weed is that I would smoke and then I'd find that all the cereal was gone. Like I was in a fugue state, powered only by my desire to consume shite. And I would raid every cupboard. I think once I got, there's nothing here. I'm gonna have a spoonful of cumin or something. Like, I'll just eat anything. And actually, when you're high and because it does.
Yeah. It triggers your receptors, doesn't it?
Oh my God. Also, sex high is something worth persevering with. I do miss a lot of it.
I woke up once after being when I get really drunk and don't remember getting home.
Adam Road.
And I went into the kitchen and there was an empty pizza box and there was also 12 empty packets of crisps from a 12 multi-pack. But I reckon about 30% of those crisps were all over the kitchen and the other 70% must have been in me. But I remembered none of it. But I've come in, finished a pizza and then gone, I'm sure I've got crisps somewhere. Ate all 12 packets of it or whatever I could get into my mouth. And I just had to ring a cleaner and be like, I can't do this. It'll make me so sad. Just come and clean the flat for me.
I can chain eat crisps like they don't even exist.
Yeah. Like I we're sat here right now talking about food. All I've had is porridge, and I've been cold plunging, which makes you feel starving. I need a big old butty.
Well, let's go and have a break then.
Top left.
See you in a bit.
Hello, everyone. Very excited to announce Dan's Anthems is on sale now. I've wanted to do this event for ages. Adam's been doing his country all days. They've been smashing it. We're going ahead. We've got a great venue, content where they do bongos, bingo. We've got Sunday, the 20th of April. It's Easter Sunday. So you've got the next day off. That's a bank holiday. Come and have a day rave. I mean, it's a day. It starts at 4. So you can do all the family stuff for Easter and then come and have a dance with us 4 till 10. If you need to get home early, if you need to get trains, you can get home. It's a very reasonable amount of time. If you've ever gone clubbing, if you enjoyed raving back in the day and you haven't done it for a while like me, come and get involved. If you've still got a great social life, just come and have a massive night out with all the lids. And it's not like hard techno or anything like that. We're not trying to be cool. Just club classics, absolute bangers, all the good dance music that you know and love. With me on stage curating a DJ set. We've got Felix Leiter DJing. Johnny Bongo is DJing, our very own Charlie. It's a great lineup of music. It's going to be an incredible event, very welcoming, very inclusive, but a lot of fun. So, tickets available now in the episode description. Dan's Anthems, Sunday, the 20th of April, 20 quid. Get on me. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Dan Nightingale and Hattie Preston from the Have a Word podcast. It's time to talk about my absolute favourite sponsor. It's NordVPN. Do you know what a VPN is,
I have
Hattie?
absolutely no idea, and I'm not just saying that.
Well,
actually. Yeah.
I am a bit of an expert.
You?
A VPN is a way where you just you can watch TV in a different country. It's amazing. You get on, you get your VPN set up, and then all of a sudden, you're like, British Netflix sucks balls. What about Madagascar Netflix? Yeah,
Fucking yes.
exactly. And you know Madagascar Netflix, it's
on.
not just the films Madagascar.
It's not just Madagascar on loop.
No, it's good.
Get
and it's
out.
also privacy settings, it's safer. And who likes malware?
Not me.
Not I. Not I. So go to nordvpn.com/have-a-word and you can get an amazing deal. Sign up for 2 years with discounts. You get 4 months extra.
I can't wait to watch Madagascar Netflix, Dan.
You should do.
And fuck you, malware.
God, that had an aggressive tone. NordVPN. It's the best VPN.
Does anybody
We're on.
remember Esto besto ragosta din day.
I feel like that's less than a decade old, surely.
No, it's 20 years old.
20.
At least.
20 years old.
Do you want me to have a look?
Yeah.
That's your life disappearing, that. That's your life going over. Hey, you wake up one day, you're 44.
You're dead.
2003.
22 years ago. I
Long-
was but a 16-year-old boy.
5.
5?
I was 5.
How old were you?
About 2.5.
It's pathetic.
3.
That's pathetic.
It is mad because I just assume everyone's my age. Do you know
People
what I
who
mean?
were 25 were born in the year 2000. That's a disgrace.
Yeah.
I mean, it's yeah.
Yeah, that's live.
That checks out.
Should we do some exact? Oh, we got.
There's footballers
Yeah.
playing professional football
Yeah.
Yeah.
who were -8 when 9/11 happened.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
And there are footballers playing professional football now who were born after the first iPhone was released.
Yeah. Bleak, mate.
No, I like getting old.
You like it?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm going to make a great 50-year-old.
Yeah.
What I want
You really are.
is a nice weather-beaten face to match my soul. Do you know, like, who I want to look like, really, is either Ralph Fiennes
Oh, yes.
or, my mind's gone blank. Uh-oh. Too much.
Smoking.
Breaking Bad.
Oh,
Bryan
Bryan Cranston.
Thank you so much indeed, everybody. Yeah, Bryan Cranston.
I didn't
That-
mean to call you an inanimate object.
Big-
I was upset.
Oh, that back to Ralph Fiennes. Yeah.
He's not got a particularly weathered face though.
Ranulph
Bryan
Fiennes has-
Cranston.
No, Ray Fiennes.
No,
Are you
well,
thinking
he
of
does
Ranulph?
in the Conclave where he's lost a bunch of weight. Basically, I think if I got down now, if I started running and got down to like that really, really skinny
Yeah.
abs on show, there would still be like residual flesh from when I was larger. So all the creases in my face would sort of retreat and it would hang more and it would just look great, I think.
You have to start running soon because you owe me a half marathon, don't you?
I don't like that phraseology particularly. I don't feel like I owe you anything apart from loads of money for all the drinks that you buy. Like to the tune of probably like a small roadworthy car. Yeah. So yeah, for that,
Half marathon.
I'll run the half half marathon, I suppose. I need to get going on that.
Yeah. You have about 8 weeks.
It's not enough. Again, it's not enough. I did exactly the same thing last year. Wheezed my way around Taunton with you, and then and I have to do it. Otherwise, I'll simply just die.
Yeah.
Should we do some executive orders?
We should do some executive orders, Finn.
We don't have a jingle for this one, but Alfie, would you like to kick us off, or would you like to hear some from the listeners?
I think the jingle for this, by the way, should be basically like Ray Winston's Bet365 adverts. So instead of betting play now, it's get it done. Nah.
Hey, Alfie, you
That's-
have nice
that's done.
dulcet tones. Can you try?
But it could be if Trump did the Bet365 adverts.
Yeah.
Get it done now, please. Put a bet on. It's a
He's
great
never
bet.
saying please.
No, you're absolutely right. Yeah.
Have you got any?
Were I given the opportunity to sign an executive order, I would make it no more books for 10 years. We've had enough books. There are enough books.
And you're a
I
little
don't
book
wanna-
guy as well.
Yeah, but I don't want any more fucking like. How many times is there like a comedian or some like celebrity? Oh, I got a new book out. Fuck off. There's not. Who's reading that? It's just space. You're taking up space. People say to me, "Oh, have you not read the new Richard Osman book?" No, because I've not read everything by John Steinbeck yet, and I don't want to like.
Of Mason Men's his goat mate.
Yeah. It's top tier.
Is that
it's
him, is it? Yeah.
S tier.
Okay.
Steino.
Is he not a one-hit wonder?
No.
What's one of the other ones? If I've not heard of him, it doesn't count.
The
Harry
Grapes of
Potter?
Wrath.
Harry Potter. He did Harry
Oh
Potter.
no, that's J.K. Rowling. Sorry, I get them confused.
East of Eden, I think.
East
I
of
have
what?
heard of that one.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
East of what?
Eden.
Of Mice and Men's a banger though,
That's
isn't
the one in it. That's, you know.
Fucking Lenny, mate, shagging the rabbits and fingering the women.
Never read it. We didn't do it in school.
Yeah. It's weird they let
That's
us
not even
read
the
that.
right-
in
Yous have
year
spoiled it
7.
for me though. I know the ending now, so there's no
What's
point
the
in
ending?
watching it. He kills him.
Who kills who?
The other one kills Lenny.
George kills Lenny.
Yeah,
Yeah, but why?
because he's a bit, you know,
It's not
simple.
about the destination, it's about the journey.
Isn't it? Because he's a bit simple.
No, he doesn't kill him because he's disabled, Finn.
Does he not?
No.
He kills him
thought it was 'cause
because
it was
he,
old.
like, spoilers, he just won't stop touching things.
He goes, "Yeah, you just wouldn't stop touching the women," and then blows his head off.
Oh, so it's a justified killing.
Oh, yeah. It's to save the lives of many other women.
No, it's not. He's not murdering women, is he?
No,
Or am I
he's just-
misremembering it?
He does murder a woman.
Does he?
He murders Kelly's wife.
Oh yeah, he hugs her to death.
He picks
Oh,
it
yeah.
up and like fucking literally hugs it to death.
Yeah.
He kills a woman. Yeah. It's like when you love a dog and you're like, we did that to a woman.
Yeah, which you can't do, even then.
Yeah.
He keeps getting them, like, fired or they have to, like, run away from ranches that they're working on. Because, like, on one ranch, he's like, oh, I've killed all the rabbits. I was hugging all the rabbits. And then by the end of the book, it's like, oh, Curly. And Curly's a naughty boy as well.
Yeah.
And would, like, torture him to death. He hugs his wife and she's fucking... I forgot about that. I did forget about
She
the
wore
woman
reds
murder.
mean red equals slag. That's what we got taught in school.
We
Now
literally
now-
got taught that in school. She's wearing red because she's a hussy.
Now do the plot of the Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman.
Huh?
Now do the plot of the Thursday Murder Club by
I
Richard
did
Osman.
buy that book. That's one of the books I've bought.
Adam buys
It's a
lots of
Netflix
books.
film, isn't it? Or it's going to come out as a
it?
Netflix film, yeah.
I bought it. The only book I've read almost all the way through is Jamie Carragher's autobiography.
Great read.
It's good,
what's
that one,
the
isn't
plot?
it? It is good.
What's the plot?
It's about Jamie Carragher's life.
Again,
It's a really
Yeah,
touching
yeah,
he wears
moment.
red, so he's a slag.
Rigobert Song, very much the villain of Jamie Carragher's autobiography. He does not like Rigobert Song. Does he not like Rigobert Song? I think he doesn't like Rigobert Song.
I can't remember. It's been like 20 years.
He's bought lots though. He planned to read.
I've started reading Matthew McConaughey's book, Green Lights.
Autobiography or fiction?
It's a sort of memoir, but he's doing it in his own twisty way.
Ooh, that sounds good, doesn't
Are you
it?
a big
In all
reader,
good
Alfie?
bookshops.
Anyway, no more books. My other executive order is when
Oh,
you.
you haven't pushed this one through yet.
Yeah, we need to vote on this.
Oh, you need to vote.
No,
on
we
it?
don't need to vote.
Okay,
on it.
well,
You don't know what an
yeah.
executive
No,
order
no,
is.
but we haven't
That's not
said
the whole
whether.
point of an executive order. Is it's executive,
We
and
haven't
I have
gavel.
ordered it
Gavel.
as the executive.
Bang the gavel. Okay,
There's
There you go,
fucking
there
no
you
more
go.
books for 10 years. So you can put your book deals on hiatus.
God, imagine having to be the first guy back. Imagine how good that book's going to be. This is the first book in 10 years.
That
would have to be-
Is that just fiction?
No, all books. No more books.
So no, like, if COVID happened now, no books about COVID.
And actually, fuck it. No more news.
Fair.
I just like, there's been a helicopter crash. Okay, I don't need to know.
Sean
was
said this
mad,
a couple of weeks ago.
It was mad, but I just don't. I reckon that I could just not watch the news, read all my nice books or whatever I want to read, and then about 3 months before every election.
That's so funny.
What?
That is exactly
Sean
what
said
Sean
this
was.
2 weeks ago.
The exact thing. Give me my news at the end of the year.
Wouldn't it be funny if I watched every episode and I was just going to continuously now do old bits that other people had done and gaslight you into thinking that I had no idea what it was? That's disappointing because I was sort of percolating it as an idea for a bit. But anyway, great minds and all that. that's. I just don't think that.
Who watches the news anyway?
or reads the news or listens to news podcasts? Just
Yeah, who are these fucking gimps?
You don't wake up and take the news unless it's like by accident, like passively, like on the radio or something.
Twitter. I get my news from Twitter,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
just immediately just don't believe anything I see.
Yeah.
That's how I work. I get my news from Twitter and go, probably bollocks. Anyway,
The helicopter crash was mad though.
It is. Yeah.
Like that. There's
But
something
it hasn't
nefarious
improved my life. And there's loads of other. Like, I don't know why I need to know. Is it every time anybody dies that I need to know about, or is it just
Someone's just died.
then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lupus.
In Aberdeen.
What?
lupus.
In Aberdeen.
I thought you said ludicrous.
Lupus in Aberdeen.
No, I don't think it was lupus in Aberdeen. We're talking about different people, but they both just died.
Oh,
Me
so
and
you
Adam's very
died of
upset about the lupus guy.
AIDS, cancer, bum to death.
Oh, wow. I think they're quite uncommon.
Yeah, but it happens once every 6 claps.
Once every 6 claps, a man is bummed to death.
Yeah, I don't like the idea of being bummed to death. But I did watch.
Stay away from Michael.
Oh,
Michael Barrymore.
I'll do it again. Stay away from Michael Barrymore's pool parties. Then
Well, I have done thus far, and I wasn't planning on attending any. I feel like that's a tough RSVP nowadays, isn't it? Like, Michael's invited us to the pool party. Can't make it, Michael. Sorry.
If you had
why is
to-
that? Why? Because Samantha's in work all week.
yeah, she's not invited anyway. It's just you.
the chances of another one though.
It's
is
like
very
9-12.
low.
Fill me once.
Get on a plane.
Yeah.
Who's actively avoiding pool parties, though? How'd you do that?
What do you mean?
What are you up to, lad? I'm avoiding Michael Barrymore's pool. Aren't we all doing that passively?
Is this a running joke that you have about Michael Barrymore on the podcast?
It's a long time ago. We mentioned,
He was on the wall at one point.
we did mention a long time ago the fact that someone, was
'Cause I
in
d-
a pool dead
Yeah,
at his
yeah.
like it did happen, didn't it?
He drowned.
I
through his
do
bum.
just want to separate myself from any legal.
Yeah, it's all alleged, and he allegedly drowned through his bum.
What?
What? Yeah, like his bum.
you being-
Carl's alleging it.
Allegedly is great, isn't it?
In my head, his bum was that big. It just filled with water.
like a puffer fish.
It's surprisingly not air, which it would have been if it was a puffer bum.
It was.
Careful.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't want anything to do with any. Anyway,
Would you
so
rather, if you had to go to one, are you going to a Michael Barrymore pool party or a P. Diddy freak off?
I don't know. What's my job? Policeman, probably P. Diddy freak.
No, you're going for the vibes.
Oh, vibes.
That's the Michael Barrymore one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I quite like.
Quite easy to avoid. Just
I
Don't
quite,
get in a pool and keep your pants on.
from what I know about
have a
Michael
cocktail.
it's on
Barrymore,
the wall. No bombing.
I quite like him.
No bumming.
I like Michael Barrymore.
I love
he's
Strike It
cool.
Lucky.
Yeah, and that was him, wasn't it?
Brilliant TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah, playing there. It's like you've watched the Sean Walsh episode and gone, let's do that again.
Really?
On the wall it says no bumming instead of bombing.
Oh, yeah. No, I did hear that the first time.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just chose to ignore it.
It's just I thought I'd say
So
it
how
again.
does this executive order thing work? Does that now
You've got another one, yeah? It's
Yeah,
happened.
Okay,
that's
great.
it.
It's done.
I've got a couple of serious ones. Electric bikes need registration plates. Done. And this is a personal gripe of mine. And also, all taxi drivers, and this is a message to the taxi drivers of this city: you take card. By the way, always, every time, you take card. Don't fucking ever. I said I got the taxi driver from Lime Street to my house the other day. I go, card, please, mate. And he goes, oh, fucking hell, but she told me at the beginning of the journey I would have turned my machine on. Just have your machine on, because it's 2025. The cab has electric doors, you maniac. And you're telling me that you still need a note with the king's face on it. Are you fucking high and making me feel like a dick because I wanted to pay? I don't know what a fucking note looks like these days. Idiot. I was really angry with him.
I had an argument with a taxi driver a few months ago. I was out for a couple of pints with my girlfriend and I flagged a black taxi down outside the Botan while she was getting the food. And I was like, good for please, mate. And he went, yeah. I went, just wait a couple of minutes and I'll give you a tip. I'm just waiting for my missus. And he was like, yeah, sounds. And then I got in the taxi. And as we set off, he went, by the way, it's cash only. And I went, it isn't though, is it? Like there's signs on your window saying you take card. And he went, oh yeah, it's not working tonight. And I went, well, I haven't got any cash. And he went, I'll stop somewhere. I went, no, you take card. I know you do. You're trying to avoid like the tax on it. And I get it. I'll give you the tip. But you take cash. And he's like, I don't take cash, lad. I'm not taking cash. And I went, you're a fucking liar. You know, and she's trying to calm me down. She's like, pack it in. I went, no, he's fucking lying. He's fucking lying. And he went, Adam, he knew me by name. He went, Adam, I've got a camera on here and you're just going to look like a knobhead on camera. I went, no, I'm not. You take card. You've got fucking signs up saying you take card and you've waited till we're 200 yards into the journey to say it's cash only and it isn't. And he went, oh, I'll have to leave you there. And I got out and ordered an Uber.
Oh, what a dick.
I should have. But there's also no convenient cash point between town and ours, is there?
There are none. There's one and it's...
So it's like way out the way.
I thought you lived in High Green, don't you?
Heighton.
Yeah,
Heighton.
Let's bleep Adam's road name.
Yeah.
Road name.
I of course have just moved to Pimbo. I live in Pimbo.
Pimbo.
It's the only place I could find up here that would still call it an ice lolly and not a lolly ice. And I'm very attached to that. So I've moved to Pimbo.
It does annoy me that I say lolly ice. It is right, but it's also,
I've already made the executive decision. I say ice, Bath and Castle and things like that. I've adopted that into my everyday vernacular because I'm so bored of you lot going, but it's right, isn't it? Because it is.
What's the alternative to castle?
Castle.
Oh, fuck off.
Do you see what I mean?
Shove that up, you big London cunt. What's that?
Well, right. That's taken a turn, hasn't it?
to the car.
That's really annoying me. It's castle. There's no H in it. There's no R in it.
Hey, do you know what? As a kid, I was so posh, I called it chicken satay.
My mum does as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I used to always laugh at her. And, yeah, but she's not posh. She's from Liverpool.
We call it salt and pepper chicken up here.
Not chicken satay, you don't?
Being a dick.
Okay.
Salt and pepper chicken satay. That'd be
And any other executive orders? Oh, yeah. If you order an executive order, you have to do all the paperwork for it yourself. And that will stop you frigging off 58,000 executive orders when you get into power. If you want to release all of the information about Martin Luther King and the Kennedy's assassinations, as Trump's just done, then he's got to read through all the documents and let us know. And I'm pretty sure that if that was the case, he'd gone, actually, I'll just do one, I think. I'm just going to do...
Are you not interested in the JFK stuff, though?
Is that out now?
Totally, but I just mean...
So he signed it a couple of days ago and it was within 14 days. He had to every single document. And apparently 95% of them have already been released. But that 5% remaining was still like 40,000 documents.
Also, a lot of what he said is legally unenforceable. Unlike my no books and registration plates for electric bikes.
So I googled it. As executive orders aren't constitutional, are they? The gender one isn't constitutional.
No. It's also that the system in America is so federalized that it has to get through like state government as well. It's so confusing. And the good thing about Trump being in power, or like the thing that saves America about Trump being in power, is it's so fucking hard to do anything. This is why when a good person gets in power, they can't change anything, and neither could. The system is absolutely foolproofed against like totalitarianism or fascism or whatever. Like,
I think it's mad that they can just go, oh yeah, that person's pardoned. You're like a prisoner, like what's his name? Robert, the guy who invented the Silk Road.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
He's been let out of prison after 10 years. He did the crime. He's doing the time. And Trump went, just let him out.
Every Thanksgiving they pardon a turkey.
Do they?
Yeah, the president pardons a turkey every Thanksgiving.
He's allowed to live.
Yeah. That turkey survives Thanksgiving. He's pardoned, which I like because it puts in our
like
brain the
bollocks,
idea that all the other turkeys we're eating because they fucked up. You're not going to see Christmas, mate, because you did some pretty bad shit. All the turkeys, bastards. But we're going to save this one.
Like the way Biden left and went, oh, by the way, all people who know criminals, they're all sound.
Yeah. In the same way in this country, whenever you leave, or like once a year, I've no idea what the system it actually is, but you can go, all my mates are going to work in the House of Lords now. All my best mates. Wouldn't it be great if you could
You
put
can do
me
that.
in the House of Lords?
The one person you gets a letter in the post. It's like you're in charge of staff in the House of Lords.
Is that real?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, man, it'd be heavy.
yeah.
Who's in?
Kev's cab.
Yeah, Barrymore. Barrymore.
That's it. Kev's cab and Barrymore. That is the only two.
Right, we've got some listener ones. This
Yeah.
one's from Adam Wickham. Hey, lads, my executive order. Every adult gets a stamp card for going to the pub that marks whether you've been to a pub from January to November. If you don't have all 11 stamps, you're not allowed in the pub for December. Sick of these part-timers and casuals. Where were you in the dark days of February? Nowhere.
Same as the gym.
Yeah, different months, but yeah.
I've never felt the gym people. I've only go, oh, the gym's full.
I think with the gym one though, you only need 2 stamps. Just neither of them can be January.
Yeah.
If you went in June and September, that's enough for you to be allowed in January.
Yeah.
But the pub one I like. That's fucking good, that.
Do you like
At
that?
least once a month, you have to have bought an alcoholic drink
Show your
in the
face.
pub. And I know, by the way, and I'm from a family of alcoholics, and I know that now it's like, no, you should be able to go to the pub and have a non-alcoholic beer. You don't get a stamp for that. You do not get a stamp for it. I'm all for people sorting their lives out, and I'm all for people having equal opportunities. If you're non-drinking, your time in the pub doesn't count as being in the pub for this purpose.
Do you reckon people would, if they were getting to like the 29th of April and they've not been, they're just making a visit just to keep their stamps up?
Yeah, and that's fine.
I know these people that don't want to go to the pub and not drink. We've got late night dessert places for you.
Yeah.
Go and have an ice cream.
Go and sit with all the Muslim lads while they're having their fucking midnight coffees and
Yeah.
have your fucking sparkling Heineken water.
Sparkling Heineken water.
That's what non-alcoholic Heineken is, isn't it? It's sparkling Heineken water.
I don't know. It's so grim.
What the good thing
It
would
passes.
be?
It
what the-
passes.
It'd be good to go on November 30th, and everyone is trying to get their December stamp going in and buying everyone else bevies. Like, oh, I need to buy a beer, but I don't want it. You could just stand at the bar and just get loads of free beer on it.
I'm not even quite sure I understand this one, but I mean, I'm happy that you're happy.
Just like a
I
loyalty
think Carl's
card.
confused me. What do you mean?
So you need to buy a beer in that pub to get your stamp.
Or you need to have had one. Me and you could go and we just get one each.
Yeah, but I'm
and
saying
you've bought both.
if it's
I
the-
still get me stamp. I've had a pint.
Yeah, but if it's the 30th and you haven't had your pint that month, you're like, oh shit, I need to go in. You go in and buy a pint and give it to someone else and leave.
Do you remember when
No, you
during COVID
get
you
the
had to
stamp
have
and you
some
finish
food?
your pint.
You had to have some food to have a pint during COVID when it sort
Mental.
of opened back
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
And I would accumulate sausage rolls on my table, uneaten.
Yeah.
And then at the end I'd go, you can have them back. I've not touched any of them.
Yeah.
You can just have them.
I went on a first date, and because of the social distancing as well, they had like a table for 2, and then the next table for 2 would be empty to cause the distancing. And they were like, "What do you want to drink?" And they were like, "Yeah, great. Also, we have to give you 2 pizzas, but we'll just put that on the next table." So I was just in a bar that was full of people sat in tables of 2, and every other table of 2 that had no people on had 2 pizzas on.
It worked though, no one got COVID.
One more, Finn.
One more. This is from Ross Thorne. Executive order for you lads. Petrol is the same price at every petrol station. No more lottery on whether you will get robbed or not.
That's the best one anyone's written in. That
Great.
is the best one anyone's written in. This is what petrol costs. And it's like, when you have like a can of Fanta that's got like 89p on it. It's like, yeah, that's what you sell it for.
Yeah.
It's in. I
That's
fucking
a
love
great
it.
one.
Break time. Chris McCausland's here.
Hello, everyone. Dan and Carl here.
Hey.
Time to talk about our absolute favourite sponsor. It's Manscaped, the very best in below-the-belt men's grooming, but also
Above the neck.
good for your face, good for your head.
Well, they call it the Dome.
The Dome Shaver Pro.
Yep.
This is that new thing. Now, I wonder, with the Dome Shaver, which one of the team here at Have a Word is going to take the lead in advertising it?
I'm going to go with you, Dan.
Oh, yeah, it's the
You have
baldy,
the
isn't it?
smoothest dome of all.
Oh, my God, this feels ergonomic.
You
Doesn't it?
stole me word there, haven't you? I was going to say that.
The Dome Shaver Pro. This is going to be an absolute game changer for me because I've basically, this is bad. I'm such a Manscaped man. I've been using pube trimmers on my head. No more. Look at the curvature of that. I don't have to think about getting in or whatever. You just basically caress your head.
Well, Dan, they've given us a lovely 3-step process. Process 1, Dome Gel.
Oh, I'll gel it up.
Put that on your head.
This will be the first gel that's been on my head since 2004.
Oh, it'll be like when you look at a baby in a belly. When you put the finger on it.
Oh, yeah.
but that'll
What
bring you there.
a weird bit of imagery.
Number 2, the Dome Shaver Pro. Now in this gentleman seems to have an arm that couldn't possibly exist because it's coming from above his head.
You don't know about his arms. Oh, this is going to feel so good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, mate, this is a game changer.
Step 3 though, the dome's smoother.
Right.
I think that just makes your head smooth.
Oh, so it just buffs you up afterwards.
Yeah, you'd be a
So
buff
for
daddy.
all of my bald brethren and those hot girls with shaved heads.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
like
I'm into it. Gail Porter.
Gail Porter?
Yeah.
She's
So
hot.
this is for bald men and Gail Porter.
John Joe Shelby. He's a hot.
He's a hot woman.
Yep.
Beautiful. Great long ball.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Don't miss out on this wonderful product.
You get that one. Manscaped.com. Use code WORD20 for 20% off and free shipping. The Dome Shaver Pro. Up your pube game and up your dome game, mate.
Bosh.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and we are joined by Chris McCausland.
Wow, I mean, this is a proper little empire you got going here, isn't it?
Absolute honour to have you in, mate. We've worked together for a long time, but I haven't seen you for, I don't think since COVID we've gigged together, really.
Yeah.
I remember one of my first weekends ever at the Manchester Comedy Store. We worked together like 2 or 3 times, and I was in there doing one of my first weekends, and like I was being all excitable, and I heard you say something like, "Here's little Adam Rowe," and I was like, "How the fuck do you know I'm little?" And you said, "Because I can hear where your voice comes from."
I have to angle my head down when I'm talking to you. I have a little category of 2 in my head of you and Sandy Toxvig.
It's a pleasure to have you here, lad. You've gone on to unbelievable things since we last worked together. And
Yes,
yeah.
it's been absolutely incredible. It's what they would, if you were on the cover of a Sunday supplement, they would describe it as an irresistible rise.
An overnight success.
Well,
That's what they say, don't they? A 21-year overnight success.
it can often, yeah. I remember seeing, like, I remember one year I went to go and watch John Bishop at the Comedy Store, and then I drove past the Hammersmith Apollo next year, and he was on there. And I went, sorry. Who decided? Is that just a decision? I'm confused about. And obviously, there's loads of stuff that go into making that happen. But to me, he was just one of the 4 people on at the Comedy Store that was great.
Yeah.
And then he was on the Hammersmith Apollo. I don't understand how this happened.
that was back in the day when like 1 or 2 TV shows, you did a guest spot on the Apollo and maybe McIntyre's Roadshow, and then you were famous. But now,
9 million people would watch it on the telly, and suddenly you could sell out a proper big theatre.
Well,
tour.
Strictly is one of the last remaining TV programs that people watch.
yeah.
And get into. So it's,
How did that come about, Chris? Because like, how did they approach you for that, and what's your initial reaction when you get told you're in the running to do Strictly?
They kept on asking me, and I kept on saying no, and I didn't want to do it. They asked me to do the year before. I said no. They asked me to do the Christmas special. I said no. They asked me to do last year's 2024, which I was on, and I said no, which shows you the amount of willpower I've got. They asked me to do the Christmas special last year. I said no. I just kept on saying no, and because I didn't want to do it. I didn't think I could do it. I thought it'd probably be a disaster. And as you know, like when you're a comedian, you get asked to do something, you go and look what it is. You go and prep, you see what it is that's expected of you. You go, yeah, I could do that. That looks fun. I couldn't do that with Strictly because it's visual, isn't it? So I had no idea what it was that was being asked of me. Oh, yes, dancing. Okay, but how good's the dancing? There's lifts. What do you mean by lifts? How mad are the lifts? Is it quite dad dancing? Is it really technical? Is it really good? How bad are the bad people? Who do I need to be better at to not just be the? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
All these questions, and I didn't know, and it was so unknown, and I knew that, like, they've always pushed representation on Strictly, which is a good thing, I think, but only if that representation works out to be positive in some regard. And I thought it could be a disaster, couldn't it? It could be an absolute disaster. I could end up in the audience with a fucking camera on top of me. So I just didn't allow myself to think about it. Fingers in the ears, la 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 la, and they kept on asking, and then I started allowing myself to think about it in more than it just being a disaster. And you know when you realise you're thinking about something too much, and you kind of realise I've already made my mind up here, haven't I?
Yeah. So you're trying to talk yourself into it. That point, you're like-
You know, otherwise I wouldn't be thinking about it so much, would I?
You've got to look back on that decision now, though, and just be like, thank fuck I did it, because, like, look what it's done. Like, you won it.
Yeah.
It
You
was-
fucking
yeah.
won it.
You did much better than my mum. She was out in round 4. So you've beaten the hell out of mum. Congratulations on that small achievement you didn't even know that you'd attained.
It was
Probably wasn't a pressing concern of yours. I
It
imagine.
was remarkable, to be honest. It was honestly like the scariest thing I've ever done in my life. Like I don't remember being that scared, that terrified of something since my very first gig. Because I came into stand up with no performance background whatsoever. You know, I was a computer programmer. You know, my A levels were maths and further maths and computers. I didn't have a performing bone in my body. I did it to have
Chris,
a
can I
go.
just stop you there just for 1 sec?
Yeah.
Your A levels were maths, further maths, and computers.
Yeah.
Can I check what high school did you go to? What? No, genuinely, was it Cardinal Leanan?
No, so I went to.
Did you go to West Derby?
No, I went to St Mary's first of all as me infant school when I was in West Derby, and then because of my eyesight and it being the time it was, I went to St Vincent's, which was for kids that had eyesight problems,
Next door.
which is down on Utree Lane past Broughton Hall and Cardinal Leanan.
Yeah, so me and Carl, who, like,
Yeah.
to your right there, we both went to Cardinal Leanan,
Yeah.
and my A levels were maths, further maths, and economics.
Yeah. Well, it's you know, I went to a college in Liverpool. I can't even remember. It must have just been called Liverpool College or whatever. But I went to a college in Liverpool after school, mainstream college, and I was there for about 6 weeks. And this just shows you the difference back in the 90s, you know, in terms of support and like facilities and all that. You know, I was trying to do maths and they went, we just can't support you here. We can't get you the materials to learn here. And this was like in 94. So I ended up going to Hereford, and there was a college there for again for you know kids who've got sight problems, and that's where I did me A levels. And so when I went to uni, I'd already done 2 years away from home, so I'd kind of burnt a lot of that, you know, that mental kind of mayhem out of me by the time I got to uni. So I was. You know, it wasn't like uni for me wasn't like, oh my God, I'm away from home. I'd done that for 2 years. So
Do you know, I didn't know you were from West Derby. Like, even though we'd worked it, I just knew you were a Scouser.
Yeah.
And then it was around Christmas time, maybe like, it might have even been Christmas Eve or like the few days before it. And I went into the Hare and Hounds pub in West Derby Village, and there's a fella just stood at the bar, and he goes, all right, Adam, lad, how are you getting on? And initially, my sort of egotistical, arrogant thought was like, oh, this is a guy who's been to see me do stand-up or whatever.
yeah.
And it was your dad.
yeah.
He's just having a pint in the ears.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, I didn't know you live around here. He was like, yeah, me, like, we're born and raised around
Yeah.
here, like Chris and that. Yeah, I didn't know you were from...
He got recognised the other day by somebody who recognised him from the audience in the Blackpool episode of Strictly, and asked him to have a photo with him. And honestly, he said he could feel his face burning. He just wanted the world to swallow him up and eat him alive in that moment because he hates being the centre of attention. You know,
My
But,
dad's the
someone
exact
recognised
opposite
him.
of that. So when we did a big podcast show somewhere, and like in the queue to get in, like my dad sort of pushed in the line a little bit because in
Yeah.
his head he's like, it's my son's show, which means it's my show, which
Yeah.
means I don't have to fucking queue up.
Yeah.
And some lads outside the, I think it might have been the Manchester Apollo actually, and some of the lads in the queue were like, excuse me mate, what are you doing there? Like fucking get to the back of the line. And he was like, it's my son's show. It's our Adam's show. And they were like, are you Mick Rowe? Because obviously I've mentioned him on this show a few
Yeah.
times, me dad. And then my dad had a fucking queue of like 15 people waiting to take selfies with him. But he's like made up with it, me dad. He's like, fucking right, I will, yeah. Like,
Yeah, Chris,
Who are they showing that photo to?
Yeah.
they're tweeting it to me.
Yeah.
Your dad?
Yeah, Chris, you went to St Mary's with my brother. I don't know if he was in your year. I think maybe he was.
Right.
Paul Reigler. I don't know if you remember.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He remembers you.
The name rings a bit of a bell, to be honest.
Yeah. So he lived on that. He lived on Meadow Lane where St Mary's
Yeah.
is. But that's
Yeah.
going back like what?
It's amazing how small that school is, isn't it? Still, like it's because a lot of these schools now, like you get 3 classes for every year, don't they? And
Yeah.
I
It's
still think
tiny.
it's still just 30 kids a year, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, it's tiny.
Yeah. But no, I had no performance skills at all, mate. Going into comedy, I was terrified when I gave it a go. But I hadn't relived that fear since doing Strictly, and And it was because it could have been a disaster. And,
Did your dance partner say that the way in which you learned or memorized or had to remember the shapes that your body held was the teaching's obviously different because she can't show you through example.
Yeah.
Like, so she's got to tell you, put your hand on your hip and your foot on your head and whatnot.
What fucking dance was this?
I think he's doing the
I don't
okey-dokey.
watch it in protest since they booted my mum off. Ever since Craig Revel Horwood was mean to my mum, I boycotted the whole programme. So congratulations, but I didn't see. But did she say it was different to how you would usually do it? Or
Yeah,
what
it was
that
massively
experience like?
different. People kept on asking us how you're going to do this together, and like we both I've no idea because I had no idea what I was getting into and what was expected of me, and she'd never done it before, so she had no idea how she was going to teach. And we just said we're just going to have to wing it. We're going to have to just see what works. And it was a lot of descriptive stuff. It took all the hours. We had to we couldn't be lazy with it. And like sometimes she just had to I'd get on the floor and feel what she was doing with her feet because she couldn't describe it. And sometimes she'd have to pick me a leg up and put it where she wanted, like I was a bendy Spider-Man, you know what I mean? Like just bend me into the position that she... And I remember doing the paso doble, because like a lot of these things, like you learn a dance and then there's bits that transfer over into other dances. And she, week 4, she can go, remember that thing from the foxtrot? I want you to do that again. Or it's a little bit like that. So then you get to the paso doble, which is like this bizarre... almost historical reenactments kind of thing. And she's put me in positions and I'm like, are you sure you've got this right? This does not feel like, first of all, it doesn't feel like a dance. It doesn't feel like anything that the body should naturally be in terms of any position. And that week, we have 4 days to learn the dance. Wednesday, she was still trying to persuade me that like the positions were right and what it was. It was so hard to get your head around, and you've got this threatening deadline of doing it on live TV in front of millions where there's no good edit, you know what I mean? It's just what it is. And that first episode when we went on, like you there's a marquee there where you go and do your little practice run through before you go onto the dance floor. We were like 13th out of 15 or something like that in the running order. So when it gets to about 11th, the person who's on 11th, you go into the marquee, you run through your dance, then they call you. You walk through the corridor. It's like the Green Mile, right? It's like being called to your death sentence. And she said, like, afterwards, I was a shade of grey that she'd, like, never seen. She'd go, like, you all right, Chris? And, like, there'd be, like, a satellite delay where it'd go up to space and come down to me. And then I'd go, like that. And she was terrified I was going to, like, just freeze up. And... like what I'm good at and what we're all good at as performers is flicking switches in our heads. We can perform, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not always in the mood for comedy. You're not always in the mood for being funny, but you have to go into that mode. And so I'm used to flicking those switches. And so we were stood out there in the dance floor, and you've got Al, who's the floor manager. 30 seconds, the VT's playing. Everyone's watching the VT at home. You can hear it in the studio. And she's coming over to me. You sure you're okay? And I was, this is the first show. I'm like, just leave me alone. You're getting on my nerves. Right? So she went over to her starting position. And then this is the comic in me, right? I'm like, I'm terrified, right? Absolutely shitting me pants. And I thought, I'm a comic. The one thing that makes me feel better is getting a laugh. So I'm stood there behind this microphone where I'm starting this dance, pretending I'm at the Cavern Club. And Al goes, 10 seconds. And I thought, I'll get a laugh here. So I walked away from the microphone. Di shit herself, right? I walked away from the microphone and pretended to throw up in the corner to show the audience how much I was shitting myself. And I got a big laugh off there when I walked back to the microphone. Luckily, found the microphone as he went, 3. I did like that. And I was like, I felt good there because I had a laugh off the audience in the room. And the people at home didn't have a clue, but you know what I mean? I'm a fickle bastard.
That is such a comic instinct, though. And I think I'd be exactly the same.
Yeah.
It's like, right, I'm not entirely comfortable yet.
Yeah.
And I'm about to perform. And the only thing I know about performing is getting a laugh is a good thing. So if I do that first, then I can sort of do
it changed.
whatever I want.
The bit that you were, in all the clips that I saw of you, you were so natural and funny when you were chatting to Claudia Winkleman. And or that's the bit that would terrify me about Strictly. Because all like live TV, talking, the pressure to be funny because you're there as the comedian, Claudia Winkleman, and you're just going, don't say piss or come or just fucking just sort your head out. The dancing, I'd be going, I'm fine with being shit because I'm not a dancer. So like all these people from Hollyoaks who do Strictly, who basically were doing tap in the womb. Like, of course, they're going to be amazing.
But you know what? What we do is be us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we've got it so much easier than the actors who are not used to being themselves on telly, or, you know, we are comfortable being ourselves. And like, my attitude with it was, right, is put 100% into it. Right, like, the God's honest truth. First time I heard the theme tune was in the studio, right? So I'd never watched it. Obviously, when I found out I was doing it, I thought, well, there's no point in me going back because I can't experience the dancing. I'm not even going to go back and listen to what the format is, because if I'm going to go into this with nothing, I'm going to go into this with nothing, and I'm going to show everybody that I've got and that's going to be the story, is I don't know what the hell's going on here. I'm going to figure it out as I'm going along. And then first 3 episodes, I was saying to die on live TV, what's happening now? What are we doing now, right? But I knew if I put 100% into the dancing and people can see I'm putting the effort in, as soon as that dance is over, if I think we've done all right, it's an entertainment show, right? You change gears, you start taking the piss. You can take the piss out of the show. You can take the piss out of Craig, take the piss out of myself, undercut the dancing. Do you know what I mean? Because they know you've put everything into it, and they appreciate that. You can't do that if they think you're being lazy or they think you're not taking it seriously.
Yeah.
And so for me, that was the easy bit. And being funny on live TV isn't, like, it's easy to be funny pre-Watershed because, as you say, you just know the line. It's harder to be funny on the last leg, where you've got to be edgy. You've got to police yourself. You've got to walk that line of being edgy enough for 11 o'clock at night.
Because the boundary rope of shock is nearer than it would be if you were...
It's why I never do... Like, I've been offered to do that Comedy Unleashed show, like the free speech, say whatever you want comedy club in London. And I turn it down every time because I'm like, that is what every comedy club is if you're good enough to do it. In your room, you're going to everyone, hey, they're going to be dead edgy here. So anything that isn't a fucking rape joke or something, they're just like, that's what they're there for. And I know exactly what you mean. And also, if we're really honest, like, you're a comedian whose career is on the rise. And one of the motivating factors for doing something like Strictly is you're hoping people like you as a comic and a person and then come and see you on tour. And at the end of the day, they're not coming to see you fucking dance on tour. They're coming to see you be funny and take the piss and rip on it. So that's your window to showcase yourself, innit? It is, the interview at the end.
And you go on to it, like, and you could go, well, if people come and watch me just because they've seen me on Strictly, will they like what I do? Well, show them what you do. Do you know what I mean? Like, give them a window into that. And I feel like I put across enough of myself doing it that they know what they're getting if they come and see me. And all you can do is be yourself, you know. And as I said, with Last Leg or something like that, you've got to be contentious, you've got to be edgy, but you've got to police yourself, and that's a lot harder than just not saying shit.
Yes, yeah.
So my mum's a massive Strictly fan, so I would occasionally walk in and watch your dances. And the one that stuck out for me, obviously being a Liverpool fan, is when you dance to "You'll Never Walk Alone."
Yeah.
Was that kind of one of the highlights for you?
It was, yeah. And it was, you know, talking about nerves, like I would say that, you know, in the top 10 scary things I've done, Strictly is number 1 to 10. Like I just the fear every episode, and it got better from that first episode. It got better and it changed, and some were more nerve-wracking than others. We did that in episode 5, and the nerves were humongous for that because of the pressure and the weight of what it was, and not wanting to do something that meant so much to a lot of people and do it rubbish. Do you know what I mean? Like do a bad job, or it be a bit of a disaster, or be a bit comical, or so I was really nervous about that. And Diane, she had this idea that we'd do this waltz, and then she'd break away from me and leave me there, and I'd do this bit on my own. And then I'd walk through the middle of the floor, and we'd meet again, like collide into this spin. And like, you know, on paper, oh, you'll never walk alone, you're going to walk on your own. I was like, do you think this is a bit on the nose? Do you know what I mean? Like, do you think this is a bit crass, a bit like... and she was like, no, trust me. It's going to be great. And so we were rehearsing it. And while we were doing it, we were meeting, and we kind of collided into this fast spin. And honestly, even rehearsing it, I was well enough. I was like, the emotion was hitting me of the moment of that, and I was like, she's really good, isn't she? And I just knew that it was emotional, and it was more the collision together of the two of us spinning, and honestly, I was so proud of it. Like, to do a good job, and we were getting messages. I was getting messages from United fans going, "I can't believe you've made me cry. You'll never walk alone." you bastard, you know, and Evertonians and. You know, I think it's a Liverpool song, and I really went out of my way to represent the city on it a little bit. You know, we did the Beatles at the Cavern Club. You know, we did "You'll Never Walk Alone," and we represented the city with the Albert Dock in the setting, and Di wore blue and I wore red, and then we did John Lennon for our couple's choice. You know what I mean? And so
didn't bother with Z cars though.
Nah.
That'd have been a step too far, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, mate.
I know you're probably sick of talking about your eyesight, in interviews and stuff like this, but obviously a lot of our listeners, this might be an introduction to you. Like, I know from working with you and seeing the bits that you used to. I don't know whether it's still in your act now or like in the tour you're doing at the minute, but
yeah.
I remember you talking about being a web designer.
Yeah.
And like, it was such a great bit about like your eyesight got worse, the websites got uglier, so you had to stop designing websites. But I'm under the impression that your mum and your grandmother had the same condition.
Yeah.
And this sort of got gradually worse throughout your life. And I suppose I want to know about that, but also my question is, if you know that's coming, why do you get into web designing in the first place?
Do you know, right? So, really bad forward thinking. It wasn't just me actual eyesight, it was me foresight. It was all kinds of sight. If it's hereditary, it's genetic. With a lot of genetic stuff, there's different types, and there's dominant, recessive. So if you think of something like cystic fibrosis, it's recessive, which means that you can carry the gene but not have cystic fibrosis.
Yeah.
And you can pass it on to your child, and then they can have cystic fibrosis, and it'd be a surprise to you because you didn't know you were a carrier. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and there's dominance, where if you've got the gene, you've got the symptoms, and there's a 50% chance you pass it on. That's what mine is. So my nan had it, 50% chance. 3 of her kids had it out of 5, and then my mum had it, 50% chance she pass it on. Both of her kids have got it, me and my sister, and then my daughter hasn't got it, and so it's just now she hasn't got it. She can't pass it on. That's how it works. So it's kind of dead in that line. And so I had it since birth, and it deteriorated just really gradually. And probably till I was about, late teens, early 20s. Everything started to go at different times, really. And I got into maths and computers purely because I was never a school person. Like, I was never academic beyond things I was interested in. I was a geek. I like computers,
Yeah.
And I didn't have time for the attention for the things I wasn't interested in. So I just got funneled into the things I had an aptitude for, rather than thinking, what am I going to do with this? And then towards the late 90s, I graduated with a degree, and everything was becoming, like, as web design and stuff. It was a lot more about drag and drop, making things look pretty, and programming. I was becoming quite slow at it. And blind people can program. You can have Braille displays, and I don't read Braille. I don't read any of that. So trying to learn how to be blind whilst learning how to...
That's the most dismissive I've ever heard a blind person be. I don't read any of that shite. That was so scary. None of that shite for me. No.
Yeah. So, but I just found I was in something that I wasn't that good at anymore because of my eyesight. And so I just got out of it. I just thought, well, I'll find something else to do.
And did you go straight into stand-up at that point?
No. I was unemployed for a while. Spending too much time in the pub, applying for jobs, not getting them. I'd like to say because of my eyesight, but I did only have a 2-2 as well. So it's it wasn't like I was like selling a first day to get jobs. I was unemployed for a while. I applied for loads of mad shit. I've talked about it on loads of stuff. I applied to be a spy for MI5, and genuinely.
Hang on, Chris. That's fucking undercover. That makes them so. What do you mean?
So I MI5, they have a graduate scheme, right? But it is for a spy to be a spy, and they recruit graduates. And I applied just as a laugh because I wasn't getting anything in computers, and I did it for a joke, just to see what it was. And there was 3,000 applicants, and I got down to 30. I was down to the last 1% of potential spies before they were like, "What the fuck are we doing?" I mean, he can't even play I Spy without my little eye. Yeah, so that was, and do you know what? Like, so it's mad that like it's amazing how like things stick in your memory. Because people have said, like, when was this? And I was like, you know what? It was either that year or that year. And I was like, well, hang on. Because I remember the full day assessment that I went to, and I had to, like, pretend to be a spy and recruit. I had to, like, get the surveillance team, procure the surveillance team for a job to, like, keep tracks on this fella and all that. and I remember that day because I went home. I was really excited. Liverpool were playing by Leverkusen in the Champions League, and we got battered. So and I remember that day. So all I had to Google was Liverpool versus Bayer Leverkusen, and it was like 2002. So
So what I learned about MI5 recently is that the pay is shite. They pay you about 30 grand a year to be a spy.
Yeah,
You get, like,
you
Aston
think-
Martins and stuff,
in my
don't you?
head, it's like, I don't know, 100 grand, 200 grand a year.
any job that you have to want to do because you have a soul is shit pay. That's why
Teacher,
bankers
nurse.
pay so much, because you don't nobody's in that for the love of the banking. You're just in that for the money. And that's nurses. They get like to be nourished. And that's why fuck you. You don't earn anything.
You also get a pen that's a grenade and Aston Martin and like loads of fit women.
Yeah, that is part of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, okay.
Yeah, you get supplemented loads of cool stuff.
I think
like.
you've seen James Bond, Carlin, taught us a documentary there, haven't you?
It's okay.
I think that's what you've done there, isn't it? Yeah. Chris, so one of the things the lad who does our research has found out, and I don't know whether you've spoken about this on like another interview or something, is that you used to, I'm interested in this because this is very up mine and Carl's street. You used to prank call people to say they'd won a Radio City competition.
Amazing.
And tell them to turn up at the station and collect their prize.
oh, we did, mate. Yeah.
Was this like
Yeah,
for a job or just for a laugh?
No, just for a laugh. It's
What are you talking about?
I don't know, MI6?
it's for people with no soul, Alfie.
Radio City Talk, top of the tower,
Yeah.
come and collect your prize.
Yeah, no, we used to pick phone numbers out the phone book.
Oh,
and
yes.
We play music in the background and we fade it down like as it came on, and we put a voice on, you know, and we'd like it's the top 3 challenge. If you can tell us what one of the songs that's in the top 3 of the charts, you can win £200 or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they'd be asking people in the room. It's Radio City. They want to know what's in the charts at the minute. What's the? You know? And if they got it right, we'd tell them to turn up and collect their prize, and we like give them a little code word.
And this was just you sat in your house having a laugh.
That was me and my mate Neil. Yeah, so me and my mate Neil, like we he's still like my best mate today. He lives down in Hampshire these days. We went down to Kingston Uni together, which just shows how much we went down there on the jolly, really, because we both just decided to we just go there together. Yeah, so I've known him since I was about 3, just from the streets of West Derby, and yeah, we just used to do that together, really. Yeah.
And what age are we talking? Like,
oh God, it must have been kind of 15.
Oh, you're younger than us. We were doing that into our 20s, Chris.
Oh, yeah.
I've got to tell you, we've spoke about this a million times on the podcast, but there'll be so many new listeners to this episode anyway. So I've got to tell you this, because the reason I love that piece of information more than anything else, me and Carl over there, best mates in school, both West Derby, Cardinal Leaning.
Yeah.
And we used to we'd pick random phone numbers out the phone book and we'd ring them, try and keep them on the phone. My favourite one, which we've said a million times before, is we called this woman and we were just like making noises and being dicks down the phone, right? And this woman goes, this was fucking class, right? She goes, can you stop doing this, please? I'm waiting on a really important phone call today. And we went, who from? And she said, Harvey's Furniture Store.
What a rookie.
Put the phone down.
She deserves
Counted
that.
10 Mississippi, rang her back and told her that we'd
Adam,
accidentally set all of her order on fire. But because it had officially been dispatched from the store, she technically had it delivered and it was her responsibility. So she just kept asking us to pass me on to a manager. And I just passed the phone to Carl for as long as he'd deal with it. And then she'd like, I want to speak to your boss, and he'd give it back to me.
And she was like, I want to speak to Harvey. Get Harvey on the phone.
And I think maybe our absolute holy grail of this is, do you remember when Les Dennis did Strictly? I don't know whether you ever heard about this, but Les did Strictly, and an internet rumour came back out from years ago because he was back in the limelight. And the rumour was that Les Dennis was actually secretly a horse wearing a human costume, right?
I've never heard this in my life.
This was on the news. It was on like BBC.
No,
like,
it wasn't.
It was.
Chris,
Up
I
and down the
swear to
country.
God. And this was me and Carl from when we were teenagers. We would ring Les Dennis's agents and try and book him for various personal appearances where he had to appear as a horse. We were getting, like, I was going on stage at gigs going, hey, I'm trying to get this rumour going. And people would tweet him and be like, Les, we know you're a horse. And it was completely dormant and just a non-existent thing apart from between me and him until Les went on Strictly. And then it was on Radio 1.
It's in the Standard. Wow. So Les Dennis, it says, Strictly's Les Dennis says nay to rumours he is secretly a horse. A journalist has typed that out.
Wow. Ironically, the only paper it wasn't in was the Racing Post.
It better be. Oh, yeah.
Mad. I'd tell you what, though, right? Because Les Dennis went on Strictly. Did he go out first or something like that?
He was out really early.
Yeah, I
wasn't he?
mean, I'd like. There's a fella who Les Dennis is great, yeah, but I believe he already had his panto booked in anyway, so I don't know. I don't know how seriously he was planning on taking it.
Yeah. If you get kicked out in week 1, it's the same. It's the same money as if you into the end, isn't it?
Yeah, if he'd have lasted till week 6 or something, I think he might have pulled a hamstring conveniently.
I've got to be the donkey in Shrek for Christmas. Let's have a little break and then we will come back and we will do some correspondence from our listeners. But what a wonderful first half. What's happening, lads? Time to tell you about Manual. And if you go to manual.co and use the promo code WORD45, you'll get 45% off an at-home blood test. Manual is one of the UK's most trusted low testosterone clinics. They can help you test your testosterone levels, and if it's on the low side, they can help you get back to being your best. There's loads of symptoms.
What's happening if it's low? You've got low sex drive,
Low muscle mass,
low energy.
weight gain,
Sounds shite, doesn't it? If that's you at home, get tested.
erectile dysfunction, low mood, anxiety, lack of focus, poor sleep quality. I've got to be honest with you, it sounds like I've got this. And Dan's results came back low, so he's checking in with Manual to see how he can get things back to a more healthy range. I don't know whether you know this, got some stats for you. Among loads of like life-changing improvements, 86% of patients saw an improvement in their energy levels after 3 months, and 79% of patients saw an improvement in their overall enjoyment of life. So sort your testosterone levels out and use Manual to do it. What's the promo code, Carl?
Word 45.
And where do they go to use it?
Manual.co.
That's the one. Go on. Make sure you've got enough in your bollocks.
Fix your willy.
Okay, final section of the show. Before we crack on with some features.
I'm in control of the buttons.
You're in control of the buttons, you
And
are.
I've got your voice in my mind. I've got my headphones on. I'm quite excited about the responsibility.
I'm excited for you, actually.
Thank you.
You're one of the
What do
best
your
at button
buttons do?
presses.
They make various sounds.
They make sounds, but me and you can't hear it, Chris, because neither of us have got headphones on. The rest of them have. It's a little treat for the listeners.
I've
at
just
home.
put my headphones on. I haven't had them for the last section.
It makes it better, doesn't it?
It does make it better,
More
but it makes
immersive?
me more. I can't tell if it makes me more or less self-conscious about what I'm saying. But also, I am the voice of one of the pre-recorded little jingles. So
You are
I
the
think
voice
you're
of
about
2.
3 of them.
Oh, 3?
Yeah, you're room 102 now as well.
my room on. Well, I can't see that on my little
Oh, right,
pad.
yeah.
If you can
but
see smooth,
I can see
press.
smooth.
That's smooth.
That's you.
So I've just heard myself in my headphones.
Smooth.
Before
Yeah,
we
that's-
crack on, we have some things to tell you about. First of all, our esteemed guest today, Chris McCausland. First of all, you've recently launched a podcast called Winning Isn't Everything, which is you and your dance partner, Diane.
Yeah, it's just us catching up, really. We got on really so well, and we used to do a lot of social media through, I've never been a social media guy, she has been really into social media, and she got me kind of roped into it, and we did a lot on there, and it just kind of, people loved it, and she was able to get the dances out of me, and she's so funny. I felt like I was kind of able to allow her to show more of herself. You know what I mean? Than she otherwise is able to. So
That's lovely.
We thought we'd look up every week and have a little catch up, talk some nonsense, and at least for the first few episodes, relive the past glory.
It's please go and check that out. It's Winning Isn't Everything, Chris and Di, and on top of the podcast, you now have both your travel show and a full stand-up special on Netflix.
Yeah, so it's from the last tour. It's called Chris McCausland Live. That's gone on Netflix earlier this month, and we're recording this on the Friday. And the travel show's just gone up today, to be honest. So
Where have you gone?
So it's I did Jordan, I did Rome, I did Greece, I did Niagara Falls. I did Niagara Falls with Lisa Tarbuck and Harry Hill went to Greece. Tom Allen, Rome, Guz Khan, Jordan, and it's basically going to places that are visually stunning. And I go with somebody else who's got to persuade me that it was worth me getting off my arse to go there. Because, if you're going to just describe it, you might as well sit on the couch and tell me, describe a photo. So,
Chris, one of my favourite jokes ever by you, and I can't remember it, I'm going to butcher it. It was something to do with the cinema. And you said, if I wanted to sit and hear loud noises, I'd stay at home and put cutlery in the microwave.
No, it was the Marvel, going to watch a Marvel film. I might as well have all just wallops and bangs and crashes and explosions. I might as well have stayed at home and put the knives and forks in the microwave.
So funny. That's from a while ago, and that stayed with me. That's such a good joke.
That sounds great, Chris. I quite fancy the idea of doing a travel show, but I think all comedians should go with Romesh's mum. We should all go with her mum.
We should
hang out with her, see what our rapport with her is like.
We should all make an agreement as comedians, as a collective, to ensure that Romesh's mum ends up with more telly than he does. And I say that sat here wearing my Romesh hoodie that he sent me.
Well,
hey, they're good hoodies, then.
It's a lovely hoodie.
Do you know what?
I
got this thing saying, can I send you this hoodie for Calm, campaign against living miserably? Suicide prevention, and wear it, do some social stuff. Yeah, brilliant course, send it out. And he sent it out. I was like, bloody hell, this is a nice hoodie, this, isn't it? So,
You're lucky Dan had to pay for one.
You're higher up.
did he?
Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go.
Dan's got the same hoodie.
He sent me one out, and I got it. I was like, bloody hell, this is good quality hoodie, this.
Winning isn't everything, but it is a fucking free hoodie.
Yeah. Are we ready to give some advice?
I feel like we are ready for some advice. Alfie, could you press the advice jingle button?
Yes, there we go.
Nice.
Well done.
So it's a bit of a lengthy one, Alfie. So what we're going to want you to do there is...
I've just realised as well, I'm going to interrupt your podcast here and can take control for a minute, right? Didn't tell you what the fucking travel show was called. So I'm going to rein you guys back in and tell you it's called Wonders of the World I Can't See. And Channel 4 named that because they like things to do what it says on the tin, right? It's basically Wonders of the World and I Can't See. It's the Ron Seal quick drying wood stain of travel show titles.
Yes.
So you can find that on Netflix. Anyway, boys,
Married at First Sight, the news. They're always doing that.
I've got a question about that. Without spoilers, Chris, what was your favourite Wonder of the World?
Niagara Falls.
Yeah?
Yeah, because it was the only one that made a noise. Everything else was just stood in front of a wall or a building.
Yeah. Taj Mahal, you're going, I bet that's massive.
Well, we went to Taj Mahal and it's just fine.
It's half shite.
Genuinely, it's fine.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked it.
You liked it?
Yeah.
But he's fucking Turkish and he's fucking easily impressed.
I'm not quite sure you've got your geography down there, Adam. I think that might be... I'm not sure how closely you think they are.
If you go to, I'll tell you what though, if you go to Niagara Falls is like the opposite of the others. Like in that sometimes you go to a wonder of a world, like the Petra thing or whatever, and you stand with your back to it, and everything outside of it is just like cultural and wonderful, and the whole thing around the wonder. The wonder mightn't necessarily be the main thing. It's everything around it that is the culture that you enjoy. Whereas Niagara Falls, you put your back to Niagara Falls, it's like Blackpool in the 80s. It's like they've got one of them old funhouse things that you go through, and it's so tacky. You know, and you've got this incredible...
I don't know how to break this to you, Chris, right? I don't know when you last went to Blackpool, apart from for the Blackpool episode of Strictly, but Blackpool in the 80s is Blackpool now. Like, they've done
you know what? Like, so
fuck all to it.
Mate, we were there doing, obviously, the Blackpool special for Strictly. Oh, the Blackpool lights were out, and we were out, and then one of the guys was just telling me some of the lights, because they go through the decades. You got Sooty and Sweep and all that stuff, right? And there was one of them, obviously from the 30s or the 40s, and it just said, use soap. Right? And you wonder how many Southerners come up and see them and go, God, do they still need telling that? I mean, I knew it was dirty up north.
Right, let's give some advice. This is from an anonymous lady. Wag Wag boys need some advice. My eldest child is now 6 and is starting to bring his friends around to ours after school. My problem is that whilst most of the kids are lovely, there's one lad who may as well be the spawn of Satan. He's drawn on our walls, screams the house down while he's here, he torments the cat, and he's also fussy as fuck when it comes to food. He's my son's best mate, but I think he's a little shit. And when I've jokingly tried to broach it with his parents, they call him a little monkey and are big into gentle parenting. How do I get this little demon child to stop coming to my house without ruining my son's friendship?
Move house. Just pack the family up, find another city.
Also,
get a new job.
How much, bullshit autonomy does this 6-year-old have that he's just bringing home mates without your say? He's like bringing home mates. All right, Mum, this is Andy. He's going to stay for tea, so put a couple of extra fish fingers on, would you? Cheers, love. Anyway, we're going upstairs to play make-believe for a bit. I'll catch you later anyway.
Sounds like our own son might be the problem here. Oi, Mum, listen. This is what's happening. Get the dinner on.
How old's your kid, Chris?
He's 11.
11. And how old's your oldest?
My eldest is 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
So have you not had any of these problems yet?
No, just, you know what, this is the difference. Like, when I grew up here in West Derby, in the 80s and that, just out in the street all day, and you had so much autonomy and independence as a child to go and make your own groups of friends and do what you want to do. And now, especially where I live, kids, their whole... social life is facilitated by your parents. You know what I mean? So the kids don't play in the street where I live. Yeah. You organise, she's going to come to your house, you're going to come to our house. And that's what life is now. And it's sad in a way that they don't have that level of independence and autonomy that we had as kids.
It is. I mean, I'm quite lucky because we live in a block of flats and there's a gardens. The flat has a little garden bit that's sort of enclosed by the flats.
Yeah.
So they can go and play there and I don't have to be there. And my kid went down to play football the other day and I went, I'll go and play with him and his mate and that'll be a nice thing for me to do. And I got there and the other kid's dad was playing with them. And I just turned on my heel and went straight back. I'm not making friends with a fucking dad. I don't need any more friends. You've got your happy. I went straight back upstairs, and Jesse went, "That was quick. Where's Donnie?" And I'm not making friends with a dad. I'm not.
No,
absolutely no way.
No, honestly, we any free time we have, I'd like to just sit in a room on my own in the quiet. That's all I want. I don't need extra people.
Yeah, your best mate is called Carl, and he is sat to your right.
Oh yeah, Chris. Going home and being on my own. I like people there too also, but being on my own at home, I don't think it gets better than that.
Yeah, you get to an age, you just go, I don't need new friends. You know what I mean? There's enough.
What are you getting up to when you're on your own, Chris?
When I'm on, my three main things, I suppose, are the football.
Yeah.
I like a bit of Audible.
Yeah.
And music. And I'm one of these annoying people that buys everything on vinyl. So
I've started buying vinyls.
Totally great.
Yeah, and I like the active experience of putting an album on, holding it, putting it on, and listening to it as intended. I mean, I've got streaming, I've got Apple Music, and it's kind of disposable, isn't it? And it's passive. Yeah. It's on in the background. Whereas I just like I like music taking up space. My wife hates it taking up space. It takes up too much space, but
I'm exactly the same.
And
With
do you know what as
books
well?
and vinyls, exactly the same.
So I buy new stuff, but I've got loads of. So I've got a huge collection of like original pressings of original like mint copies of like comedy albums from the 60s and the 70s and the 80s. And what I like about it is this is the one that was in the shops. This actual album I've got in my hands was the one that went in the shops in 1967.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And comedy on vinyl for me is warm and it's lovely. And like so, I know I've heard you talking with Dan about how you guys are comedy fans, not just comedians. I'm a comedy fan. You know what I mean? Yeah. I got into comedy because I love comedy, and I still love comedy.
I've got a vinyl of the stand up that we used to have them on the backdrop here, but we changed it a little while ago. I've got a vinyl of the stand up that Lenny Bruce got arrested for.
Yeah,
and it's an original. Was on the shop floor when it went out. And I love it. It's so cool.
I've got one of his that he sold out the back of his car with his home address written on the back in biro. Yeah,
fucking
cool. I know, mate. And I just love old. It's like having a piece of history in your hand.
Yeah,
and and on that note as well, because I remember when I was a kid, you used to get the commemorative albums of like the cup final and stuff like that. And I've been back and I've got all the Liverpool ones from like the European Cups and things like that. And I just like having like the thing that was like that's as old as the event itself.
So hang on, they'd put on an album all the commentary from the match. Or
yeah. So like the radio commentary would be edited down into a feature and that.
Cool.
So like I've got the 1977 European Cup final on vinyl. And,
I think you've just given Alfie a new obsession, by the way.
Listener, my birthday is April the 10th.
But you know what? Like with vinyl, it's the hunt, isn't it? It's like finding, especially with old stuff, finding the good quality. Because you can buy shite. There's loads of shite. You can get shite for £1, but it's finding the one that looks like almost as if it's only just been put on the shelf.
Yeah.
And how the hell did we get from a 6-year-old with a fucking behaviour problem to this?
This is perfect. What's the one what's your most treasured record?
Do you know what? Like it's so like some of the old stuff you'd go you go, well, like, this is old, this is nice that it's old, but there was so many of them made that they're not that rare. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. You can just have a nice copy of something that there was hundreds of thousands of them made. It's vinyl that came out in the kind of dark period of vinyl that, I've got some stand-up that there was like, just 500 copies made of. Yeah. And some stuff on Sub Pop that was made in like 2002. That there's probably not many of them floating around the place. And it's things like that.
One of my last specials, I looked into getting vinyl printed of that, and I was going to do literally 500 of them and no more. And I never got round to doing it. It's very expensive to make as well, so you'd have to charge quite a lot for them to make any sort of money on it. And I really wanted to do it. I'm kind of gutted I never actually.
Yeah.
I might look.
I've got Vittorio's latest show on vinyl.
Yeah.
Which I haven't listened to it yet, but I'll have it forever.
Yeah, I've got it up. Yeah. It's next to George Carlin Class Clown.
My comfort blanket is probably, like, musically, is probably Nirvana Unplugged. That's probably the one.
Really, yeah?
Yeah, that de-stresses me the most.
You're into the grungy, gothy stuff?
I grew up on everything Seattle and grunge, and the Crazy House down the road was my hangout for years.
Was it, yeah?
That's mad. We used to go to the Crazy House.
Oh, all the time. Two for one every weekend on the drinks, and I went there before, I went there when... So this is before Alco Pops existed. And so the closest we had was Mad Dog 2020, which was like flavoured nail varnish. Right? So you used to get this Mad Dog 2020. It came in a bottle that was like a hip flask, right? And it was horrible. Before they learned to put the pop in Alco Pop, right? And then we used to do these things because it was 2 for 1 every weekend in the Crazy House. And we'd make these things called Blastaways, which was a bottle of Castaway and a bottle of Diamond White. And it created like this tropical, almost like an alcoholic lilt.
No.
Yeah, so we had a lot of messy times there.
Chris, is it true that you used to get into clubs when you were 16 with cardboard passports?
So before 9/11, right?
You're going to have to link these fast.
Before you were on a watch list.
You used to be able to get a temporary passport from the post office. And it was like a 3-way folded passport that would last like 12 months. And I had one of them because I went on a school trip. I can't remember whether that was the exact thing I went on. But I had one of these passports and it had me down as 1977 on it. And I'd been on the trip. I'd done the thing I got it for. I wasn't going away anywhere. And I remember my dad's getting like a little safety pin and scratching off the top of the 7 and getting a pen that looked the same and drawing a loop on the bottom so it said 76. And just buy me an earlier year in the pubs without any grief.
Can I ask you one question, Chris? Because you mentioned there one of your big hobbies is the footy, and you're a big Liverpool fan.
Yeah.
Can you tell me what the experience of being a football fan is and being, blind? Like, how is that?
Well, I didn't miss much in the 90s. Only really started to affect me in around about maybe a brief moment in 2001 and then 2005. Yeah, so it like at home, I listen on the radio mainly.
Yeah.
That's my go-to thing. I listen to a lot to Steve Hunter on the biased commentary, with Aldo screaming on the LFC commentary.
I like that.
And the problem is that the telly commentary doesn't tell you anything, and it's a shame because football is social. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so if you're watching it with your mates, we either watch it on the telly and I don't know what's going on. Or the only other way is like if I'm at home with my daughter, I can't really sit there and watch it with her because it's the telly and I don't know what's going on, or it's the radio and she can't follow. She doesn't know what's happening. So it's very it feels quite solitary in a way that you can't share that socially the way that I used to when I could see it. Because even back in the day, like back in the 80s, everybody, so many people would just turn the volume down on the telly when it was on the telly, put the radio on, because people preferred the radio commentary.
Yeah.
And then everything went digital and everything's out of whack. People don't do it anymore because the commentary's never lined up with the broadcast.
Yeah.
So it is a thing that people do love the radio commentary more than the telly. But for me, that's how I get it. And if you go to the game, you can get that little headset from them with that commentary I'm talking about, the LFC commentary, and you can listen to it in the ground while you're watching the game. But the only problem with it is that whenever anything exciting happens, everything gets so loud you can't hear it. So you can only hear the shit bits. You get incredible commentary of every throw-in.
Do you know, about a year ago, I sort of became aware of what you're talking about. Like, I was in the car, I think I was driving to a gig or whatever, and I had us on the radio in the car, and literally was like, oh, this is so much more descriptive.
Oh, yeah.
Of a game of football than like when you're watching the TV and they're just like, oh, well, everyone can see what's going on.
Yeah.
We don't really have to describe it. We just have to literally comment on it.
Yeah.
Whereas the radio one is, it's a lot more than commentary, isn't it? It's so descriptive.
And because their words,
brilliant.
The action is faster than the words that they're saying, that they have to tell you the story of what's happened in the tone of what they're saying. So he shoots.
Yeah.
And then he's missed is just in the ooh.
I always remember listening to I think it was Liverpool City when Salah sat 3 of them down on their arse. And he goes, Salah, he's weaved one way, he's weaved it. Oh, he's far. I haven't got the words for this. I was like, what?
Could you give it a go?
I was like, fucking make an effort. I don't even know how to describe this. It was phenomenal. But do you know what? There's things that just work brilliant on the radio. Boxing, oh God, it's amazing on the radio.
I listened to Joshua Dubois on the radio on the way back from
the
somewhere
boxing
Shire.
is phenomenal on the radio.
Wonderful.
The darts over Christmas, absolutely brilliant on the radio. You can just follow every throw. It's the way they bring the darts to life. You think, and this is on TalkSport, right? The darts, and because you'd think, how the hell does that work, right? Even their advertisement, when they say it, they go, darts on the radio. It works.
We did this thing for when the Ashes were in Australia. So there was a little group of comedians who all like the cricket. So we all met up around 11:30, and we were going to do all night or as long as we could. But because the BT Sport commentary was sort of mildly interminable, and we loved TMS so much, the BBC cricket, it's so I mean, because they've got the time to sort of have a chat and basically podcast before podcasting was a thing. Like you get these old blokes saying, "And our first butterfly of the afternoon is just fantastic. That's good to hear. I love that. This is detail that's really colouring everything for me." So what we did was we got digital radio, like the BBC on the digital, and their TV. We both had pause on both, aligned them perfectly so that they were in time with each other, and listened and managed to sync up BBC TMS to BT Sport. So if you've got the time, it's worth.
I mean, I would say this is the problem with cricket: is when a butterfly is the most exciting thing of the game.
Sure.
Imagine during a Premier League game of football, they mention a butterfly. You'd be like,
"Oh my God, it's a fucking butterfly!" Well, I did say that in springtime, butterflies would fly past the camera.
So our advice for this 6-year-old that's ruining everyone's life.
I don't know. That was 20 minutes ago. Fuck that guy.
Turn the radio on.
Well, we've got a football related have a word if we want to do that.
Yeah, I'd say move house, get a new job, find somewhere else to live, or just tell your son that his best mate's been stealing his favourite toys.
Do you know
That's
what?
a good one.
That's a good one.
Or
Use your superior brain
to
turn your child against his friend.
Or just say no.
There you go.
Just
Or
say
you pull
no.
the little kid in who's the nightmare.
Yeah.
You isolate him from the group and you just say the most horrific shit to it. You're just like, listen, you little fat cunt. Yeah? No wonder you're a fat cunt. Your mum's a fat cunt and your dad's a fat cunt and you all stink of shit. Anyway, go and play. Then, later that day, their parents are going to ring.
Taking a turn, isn't it?
If you are, I suppose, if you are going to, in your question, have a go at gentle parenting, it might be worth having a go at violent parenting.
But then they will then go to their parents and be like, "Hey, do you know John's mum called me a fat cunt, called you a fat cunt, and called me dad a fat cunt?" They're then going to ring you and be like, "Did you call my son a fat cunt?" And you just deny it. And then you tell your son he can't play with him anymore because he's a lying fat cunt.
Don't say the fat cunt because that will trip you up.
And if you beep out all of the cunts in that, it's Morse code for just fucking be a parent and an adult.
Right, let's do a have a word to round us off.
Oh, nice.
It's time to
It's quite quiet this week because.
Dan's on it. It's
Oh,
fine.
you go on.
I love to have a word. It's the time to have a word.
Oh, that was lovely.
Beautiful. This is from Joe Bryant. Wag wag lids, have a word with my mate Oliver. I've been a Wrexham season ticket holder for years, and since the Hollywood success has come about, Oliver has been saying he wanted to come to a game. Eventually I brought him along. He turned up in a Wales rugby top with Wrexham scarf, and throughout the game kept shouting shape and moaning at the referee and linesman. People around us were getting visibly pissed off. At the end of the game, I asked him, what does shape mean? And he goes, I don't know. It's just what people say. Have a word with him, lads, for embarrassing me in front of all the people I sit with at the
In
games.
nursery. Shape.
Wow, I didn't think there'd be anything more kind of annoying to shout from the crowd than shoot. You know what I mean? At least shoot's a thing you do.
Every time Joe Gomez gets the ball, shoot. Look, he's trying to get involved though, isn't he?
I think we'll have a bank holiday in Liverpool if Joe Gomez scores, by the way.
I will. Whether it's like official and legal, I will. I'll be
National-
We'll go into Barclays together and go, everybody, fuck off. He scored.
National Day of celebration. I reckon if they put me in the team, I'd score before him.
Just a citywide, everything outside the perimeter of the city, like inside it rather, it's shut down if he scores. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
You fucking grow up, take the rough with the smooth. You can't have all of the money plunged into your club without fair weather fans getting involved and being interested. It's the deal with the devil that you do. You get the fair weather fans involved, and they come to the ground. If you want to be the sort of football fan, obviously, maybe you could have a word with. Okay, I'll have a word to him. Don't say shape. It's really irritating, and it's sort of nondescript. Also, it's an instruction for a group of people. It's hard to follow. It's just, I'm not sure it's helping. And also, the great thing about Wrexham with all
You
the
might
money
as well
they've
be
got,
shouting, line up! Line formation!
they've got loads of money now, so that what they've done is they've employed a manager. He'll do that, so you don't have to worry about it.
Isn't it interesting, by the way, that like what's happening at Wrexham is basically what has happened at Man City, and because it's Man City, and obviously there's ties to like a nation rather than two famous people, but the injection of a lot more money than the rest of the league can possibly compete with is what Man City did and what they're accused of being like ruining football with. But it's seen as like romantic and nice at Wrexham.
I think there's a lot of differences, though, isn't there? One's Deadpool.
and one's a nation state. And I think I'm just like...
One's guilty of violating 143 bloody financial regulations, and one's Deadpool.
It is like...
Okay, back in my box then.
Like rich owners have always been a thing. There's always been... Like there's, Billy Bollocks, who used to own Blackburn, whatever his name was.
It's a mad name for an owner.
Billy Bollocks. Yeah.
Billy Bollocks.
He had so much money, he changed his name to Billy Bollocks. Because fuck it, I can. But it's when nation states own football clubs that I go, no, they shouldn't. They shouldn't.
Also, they're non-threatening. The Wrexham, they're down there doing their thing. When
They're going to be in the Championship next year.
A
what I
lot,
mean, when
a
they
lot
come
of the. So I obviously I've not. I can't say I'm a Wrexham fan, but they're like my local-ist team that are doing all right. So I follow all their social media stuff, and I think League One fans are pissed off with them.
Yeah.
I think it's because we're all Premier
away from
League
it.
fans.
Yeah.
We're in that bubble. I think people are annoyed at Wrexham fans, but
I think they're jealous as well, though.
yeah,
of course.
100%.
Yeah.
What club wouldn't want?
But there's
this
no. The
kind of
thing is, though,
ownership?
is there's no hypocrisy in it. Like they are putting. I think they're running it as a company. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're running it as a company with profit and loss, and they're, I'd imagine he's satisfying all of the regulations that they need to satisfy to do it. There's no hypocrisy there. You look at something like an oil state that's owning a club, and there's just the hypocrisy of the human rights situation in the country that owns the club. And the message that the players and the club send out. Oh, you got your rainbow laces on, have you? That's nice, isn't it? Why don't you tell your gay friends to go on holiday to the country that owns your club and see how they get on? So it's and the other one's Deadpool. So
The thing is that it's like part of like Wrexham's modus was to go, we love you, Wrexham, we do. And Ryan Reynolds is really good, by the way. Like, no, they're not trying to push that message. If they were trying to go, by the way, It's Always Sunny is great.
It is.
And I'm sure it.
But if Ryan Reynolds was beating up gays in his own time whilst the club was promoting equal opportunities and inclusivity, then you'd go, hang on a minute, your owner's a dick.
Unless they were villains in the new Deadpool.
Gay villains.
Yeah.
Are they? Hang on.
Well, most villains are camp, aren't they? Most villains are camp.
Are they villains who are
Camp
gay,
British.
or are they gay? Are they villains because they're gay?
Choose your poison, Carl.
It's okay.
Can I ask a question to our resident Welshman?
Yes.
What's wrong with going in a Wales top and a Wrexham scarf?
I think that one's nitpicking there.
Okay, cool.
Well, it's like turning up to the cop in an England kit, isn't it?
But I think Wrexham probably have a more favourable view of what it is to be Welsh than the Scouse have.
It's like going
view
to
of
an
what it is to
Arsenal
be
game in
English.
an England shirt.
I'd rather turn up in a bloody Everton top than an England top or a Liverpool game. I think.
Yeah, I think I would as well.
Yeah, me too.
I'd just like to say, big fan of Wrexham and their fans, and please keep booking me for your fan zone. Thank you. That's
At
all.
least if you turn up in
I
Everton top.
see what's going on.
Big Wrexham.
Oh, he's in the pocket of Big Reynolds, mate.
No, just no.
Are you going to wear that Liverpool top when you go there?
Definitely not. I borrowed my friend's Wrexham top.
You dog.
Oh, you absolute sellout.
Yeah. If they pay me well enough, it's fine.
Yeah, he's right there.
Yeah, fair
Well,
play.
there's a gig for you in the UAE if you want to do it.
If the money's right.
I'd say to your fella, though, don't take him again. You've done it once. You didn't enjoy it. He's learnt his lesson. He doesn't get invited again.
That is good.
Or, just say to him, lad, look, like, it's actually on you. If you know he's not a football fan and he doesn't know the customs of it, and he doesn't know the ways of the fucking world, it's on you to go, lad, you don't want to wear the fucking Wales tops to the game. Either wear a Wrexham one or wear something neutral with your scarf. You get away with it. Also, don't just be shouting random instructions that you think you've heard in an episode of Ted Lasso. Let's just fucking, like, if you want to shout something, whenever we don't get a decision, call the referee a bellend. Everyone else will be, if you just do that, everyone will be like, fucking hell, he knows his stuff, doesn't he?
Also, I would say just go, oh, how about first 15 games you watch, just take in all the information. Those can be a learning exercise, and then you can hear what everybody else is saying. And if you feel comfortable and like intelligent enough at the end of those 15 games, try and have a little shake.
I took Serica to her first game this year against Doncaster in the League Cup.
Did that feel like a safe one?
Oh, yeah. Just safe. And obviously away fans, especially lower league fans, they bring the noise, don't they? Like it's a party to them.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to like belittle them, but it's a day out, isn't it?
Carl's an Everton
I'm
fan,
an Everton
Chris.
fan, yeah.
Right, sorry to hear that.
I genuinely need that. So they were singing all game. They were
When we
making all the
when we
noise.
win the league and the Champions League this year, I hope the parade goes past your new ground.
I won't be in this continent. So they're singing all game, and she's like, they're having so much more fun than you. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of how it works. Is we're the home team, we're meant to win, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then she starts like quietly singing along with like, we love you, whatever. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. I'm like, yeah, they're having a great time. You're not.
She's like, it's catchy, that, isn't it?
Yeah, It's like, they're the fun ones. I want to go and sit with them. And I was like, oh, you
You don't understand what it means to be an Everton fan.
No.
You
Be
don't.
sad. We were winning.
Silent misery.
Who was you playing?
We were winning 2-0 against Doncaster
This
as well.
is how shit Everton are. That she goes along and she thinks I'd rather be a Doncaster fan.
I think I would be as well.
Oh my goodness. Adam's right though, you know, it's just like the referee off. Every game of football is different. Sometimes there's goals, sometimes there's no goals, sometimes there's sending off, sometimes there's not. The only consistent in every single game is the referee will be a bellend.
Every time you don't get a decision, it's the referee's fault.
And David Coote's come out, so he's a gay villain.
He is a gay villain.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, and I seen someone quote tweet that with the scene from The In-Betweeners. Like he come out and he was like, look, you know, I made some really bad comments, but I am gay. And it's Will from The In-Betweeners going, oh, obviously that's really difficult and awful. And yeah. It's not really relevant though, is it?
It's not. Yeah. I mean, you know, a lot of people have come out as gay in, you know, things that have had to do with, you know, accusations to do with like sex and power. And do you know what I mean? Like whether it's Kevin Spacey or Philip Schofield or whatever, there's a line of connection, isn't there?
Yeah.
Whereas he just seems to apparently, I'm gay, by the way. It's like, well, good for you, fair play. But you know, I've never heard that, you know, being gay leads to, you know, financial corruption.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got loads of gay mates.
Doesn't
Not
lead to
one of them has
match
ever
fixing.
called.
I've never heard that
Jürgen
connection
Klopp
before.
a German cunt.
Fact. That is a fact.
Yeah.
Yeah. As far as I know, anyway. That brings us to the end of this week's episode. Chris McCausland, thank you so much for being in here. Appreciate
cheers
you.
for having us. Cheers for inviting me into the empire.
When's the special out?
The special's already out.
It's already
Special's
on
already
there.
out. And sorry, when's the Channel 4 thing out?
Today?
What is the bell? I can't see that. Today.
It's all already
It's all-
out. By
it's
the
all on
time this
Netflix.
episode goes out,
It's all on
How
Netflix.
wonderful.
It's all on there. Thanks for listening, by the way, Alfie. Thanks for listening.
I wasn't wearing the headphones back then.
The travel show is called Wonders of the World I Can't See. The stand-up special is Chris McCausland Live, and the podcast with Chris and Di is called Winning Isn't Everything, and they are all available right now. As I said at the start of the episode, which I haven't recorded yet, but I am going to record just after this.
Oh, and I'm also on tour if anyone wants to come and see me. There you go.
Oh, there we go. Yeah,
There you go.
I actually forgot you were on tour as well.
Have a Google. I'm at the Philharmonic tonight, aren't I?
Philharmonic Hall.
Have a Google.
It's a beautiful venue to do stand-up in. Yeah, Chris McCausland all over the country. Go and check that out too. I have some shows coming up. If you go to adamrowe.co.uk, I'm doing a load of Adam Rowe and Friends shows where I will do at least 30 to 45 minutes of new material, and I'll have 2 to 3 friends with me each night. There's a load of shows in Liverpool, and I've just added Manchester, and Dublin and Belfast are due to follow. I'll also be adding Glasgow, maybe Edinburgh, Newcastle, and London and Birmingham. I'm going to be doing quite a lot of these over the next 6 months.
Is this to work out new material?
Yeah.
So, God, you actually go on tour when you're doing new material. Like, you're getting about.
Well, I'll go to comedy clubs and do club weekends and test it there. But then when I want to do, like, if you're booking a club weekend, then you can only do 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So I want to be able to run longer than that and stretch my legs a bit. So yeah, I'll get about a little bit, because otherwise I end up doing it all in Liverpool, and then all I end up knowing is that it definitely works in Liverpool.
Yeah,
and I'd rather shop it about.
Yeah, it makes sense. Just fucking hell. A lot of effort, innit? A lot of effort.
You tired listening to me?
Go on tour before going on
the
tour.
podcast is on tour, and we're doing the Murderers Row tour, which is us bringing on 4 special guests each night to do stand-up. A couple of people have messaged being like, is this a podcast tour? It's not a live version of the podcast. It's me and Dan hosting one half each of a show with 2 special guests in each half, and that all the tickets for that are on haveawordpod.com, where you can also get merch, including exclusive Murderers Row tour merch. And on top of all of that, we end every episode with a fucking song from one of Finn's mates.
Not my mates. Someone did message me that and go, do I need to be your friend to get played? No, be good. That's the question. This week is a band called the Solars. So SOLAAS. And this is their tune, Smoke and Mirrors. Go on.
Yeah.
Go on, do it.
Sounds good. No, it does. It sounds good.
They like it when you do it.
It sounds good.
We are the Solars.
We're the
and this is
Solars.
Smoke and Mirrors.
We're all the way from Pimbo, and this is Smoke and Mirrors.
All the way.
Have a good week, lads. Ta-ra.
Goodbye. Thanks for everything. Bye.